It's time for the March 2026 installment of Brews, News, and Previews, the very first one of 2026. We're celebrating the lives and careers of those we've lost over the past few months, then catching up on the biggest news, like the latest with the sale of Warner Brothers Discovery and first looks at the upcoming Tomb Raider and God of War television series, and discussing a handful of previews, including Jury Duty Presents Company Retreat, Mortal Kombat 2, and The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's a jam-packed episode of Brews, News, and Previews, and it begins now. Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following episode. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me, Mr. Andrew Meadows.
It is I. Couple dudes looking to do some, potentially some Brews, News, and Previews. Is that right?
That's right. It's our March 2026 edition of Brews, News, and Previews. It is also the first Brews, News, and Previews of 2026 entirely because, of course, we are trying to catch up on all the 2025 stuff that came out and then, look back on it. And then we did our big look ahead episode, which kind of took the place of the probably what would have been the February edition of that, although it did technically come out in March. It was long. Took a long time to edit. Sue me. Don't actually. But yeah, no. This is nothing. If nothing else, a really good chance to catch up on a lot of news. There's a ton of news, ton of headlines that we're going to be getting into. Some that we've sort of woven into other episodes, but a lot that we haven't touched on at all. Some big major developments in Hollywood that we're going to get into. We've got a few trailers, a few new things that we didn't talk about on our 2026 A Look Ahead episode, some things that we did that we have new trailers for, so maybe we have some different thoughts to share. And we actually have a lot of people that over the past few months have departed the immortal plane, and so we're going to be getting into that, and we're going to have a pretty, probably the longest in memoriam section we've probably ever had in the history of the podcast, is what I will say. So it will not be a fun section of the pod, but we will have fun before we get into that. We don't want to totally start things off on a big downer sort of note, but yeah, no, we're hanging out, and I do have a brew. I'm drinking some Dogfish Head. It's a spring release special Czech espresso, and so I said that before we started recording, and then you thought maybe I was talking about Sabrina Carpenter. Now I have espresso stuck in my head, and I'm not mad about it, to be honest. And I'm drinking it out of a Florida Gators glass that Enrique got me, I think for Christmas, if I'm not mistaken, celebrating the regular season SEC basketball champions for college basketball. So, doing pretty good. Georgia's they're going to make the tourney. So, I don't know if you really pay attention to Georgia basketball, but they're having a pretty solid year for what Georgia basketball usually is.
Okay. Well, I am joining you tonight. I drank what little bit of wine I had left with dinner tonight.
And now you've pivoted to a brew.
I pivoted to what you left, in fact, in my refrigerator.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So tonight I am finishing off Florida Avenue Brewing Company's Flippa. That's right.
Florida IPA.
And I am drinking this out of a Stella Artois glass.
Very nice. Excellent stuff. All right. Well, could you perhaps?
Tasty. Yes.
Yeah. No, I thought I've liked all the Florida Avenue stuff I've had. It's pretty close to you. Not, I guess, super close, but pretty close. I drive past it more, and like, oh yeah, I forget that's there. Never been though. Anyway, would you like to regale me with some mythological trivia so we can have a little bit of fun at the top of the episode before we bring things down in a big sort of way?
Yes. So in Greek myths, Eos, the incarnation of the dawn, is the mother of what four spirits? A, the four swordmen. B, the four winds. C, the four caballeros. Or D, the four sirens.
Well, the sirens are the only thing that sound Greek mythology-esque to me. So I'm just gonna go with my gut and say the 4 sirens.
That would be a strong option.
A strong option. That's wrong. It sounds like
that's
sounds like
wrong.
that's what you're about to tell me.
It's the 4 winds.
Okay, that was my second option. What was the first one? What was the first option?
The 4 swordsmen.
Yeah, that didn't sound right. And then the caballeros, that didn't sound right either. So I figured it was either the winds or the sirens. As soon as I heard sirens, I thought that sounds pretty good. That sounds like a mighty tempting answer, and it's probably there to tempt you to get things wrong.
That the A wind is in the Odyssey. I can't remember if it's. I think it's one of the 4 winds is what it is. And sirens are also present in the Odyssey. So I thought this was a Odyssey relevant myth question. So it's good.
Yeah, no, very cool. And that's of course why we are, doing these mythological trivia questions at the top of the episode as a reminder. It's building up to the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, gracing IMAX and other major premium format and theater screens and stuff. And I think June of this year, June or July. I always forget what month it's actually coming out.
Experience of the year, I think. That's what
we're... It very well could be. It very well could be. We're building hype for it, for sure. So, all right. Well, it's another L for me. We did get, Enrique and I did get Zeppelin last time. So, and I did listen to Achilles' Last Stand in honor of that. And it's pretty good. It's an epic, I mean, it sounds like Zeppelin, of course, very, very, very signature sound, but a cool song, definitely a cool song. So check it out. All right. Should we turn our attention to the in memoriam section and talk about some people that are no longer with us? Should we bring the mood down a little bit?
Let's bring
it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Obviously, it's sad.
Let's
it's
celebrate
sad,
this
but
shit, man.
It is a celebration of life at the same time. I think that's how you have to treat these things. Obviously,
I tell you what,
it's tough. But
when you're these people that we're going to talk about, it's actually it's very, very cool because I mean they're I think the movie star there's meaning behind that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
You can view them long.
There's
after,
legacy,
Exactly, yeah. And then, you can only hope to impart the lasting impact that these people potentially had, or have on other people for as long as they will potentially have that impact. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So
yeah, very well said.
It's
It doesn't have to be all sad. It's a reflection. It's a celebration. It's in memoriam, exactly. So we are going to move back to December and work ourselves up to more or less present day, which is early March for the record. Back in December, we lost Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa, who passed away at age 75. I think most notably, perhaps for you, definitely for me, is Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat film, the 90s, 1995-ish maybe, where he was a fucking iconic villain. Your soul is mine. Yeah. That's the guy.
Iconic.
It has begun. Just great stuff. I mean, perfectly campy, hamming it up, as one should do in a Mortal Kombat movie. Maybe we'll talk about Mortal Kombat again later. There's a lot of synergy. There's a lot of things that tie in, I will say. There's a lot of crossover between some of our pieces of news and such. But yeah, he was more than just Shang Tsung, of course. He was a Bond villain in License to Kill, played the villain Quang. He was also in Bernardo Bertolucci's The Last Emperor. That was his first film role. He was in a good amount of things. Planet of the Apes, the 2001 shitty Tim Burton one, but what are you going to do? Memoirs of a Geisha. He did cross over to be in the 2009 Tekken film, which is probably bad and I didn't see, to be fair, but hey, cool man. And Tekken 2, Kazuya's Revenge. I think he had a bigger role in The Man in the High Castle, the Amazon Prime show, and was in the Lost in Space Netflix show, which we covered once upon a time. I don't know if he might have been in the later seasons. I don't remember him in the one season that we watched and covered, but yeah, no, storied career. Did a voice in Kubo and the Two Strings as well, which is obviously a very incredible film.
Who was he in Kubo?
Should be he was Hashi, who is let's take a quick look. A local villager who entertains with the Japanese dragon puppets. He was one of the villagers, wasn't like the villain or anything.
Okay.
But yeah, Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa. Yeah, what do you have to say about him?
Yeah, iconic role in Mortal Kombat for sure. And I know who he was in Kubo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know his face. I clicked on it. I immediately knew who it was, and it's a bummer. License to Kill. I knew him.
License to Kill. Yep.
I can place him in that too. I've always wanted to watch, Man in the High Castle. I've always ever since I played that one video game. I can't remember what it was now. Not that I'm talking about it, but it's like an alternate deal with.
I mean, I don't know. Wolfenstein's kind of a
Wolfenstein, exactly.
Yeah,
Wolfenstein.
Yeah. What
ever since I played
sort of
Wolfenstein, it's kind of like, I don't know, planted the seeds of what if, and the Man in the High Castle is all what if, and so I don't know. I've always been intrigued by it, and I've never taken the dive, but I'd like to. Yeah, so I mean, it's a real bummer that he's gone.
Yep.
So
it is, but. Like we talked about Legacy, I mean, and I know I think he was in the Mortal Kombat Legacy, like little TV web series they did. I think he also offered his likeness for Mortal Kombat 11, the video game. So like, I mean, that's pretty cool, to be. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan. Like this guy's fucking Shang Tsung, and that's
sure.
Pretty badass, at the same time. But rest in peace to Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa. Rest in peace as well to Peter Greene, passed away at age 60. I think also a very recognizable actor who, didn't have huge roles in anything, but very memorable turns in, I think, both Pulp Fiction and The Mask. I think probably the two big ones. So Zed in Pulp Fiction, and then Dorian, the villain in The Mask, which I know you watched at least some of recently. Yeah. I don't know if you ended up going back and finishing it and stuff, but obviously you would have seen him very, very recently in that, where he's a bad dude, but he gets the mask on at one point, which is fun too. A sad story here. Passed away at 60. It was I think an accidental gunshot wound that he just was found in his apartment a few days after that happened. So really sad.
Gunshot wound.
I think that's what the determination was. So I mean, I don't know if he was just trying to clean it and safety wasn't on. I don't know the specifics, but yeah, no, I mean that's pretty awful. So that's a rough one. It's pretty awful. But it makes said definitely some memorable performances for him as well as in Training Day as well. Usual Suspects. I think more recently was in the John Wick TV show, The Continental, in one of those episodes. So yeah, that's Peter Greene, unfortunately, who is no longer with us. Born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Did not know that, so that's something to say too.
About it.
Yeah. So moving on. Another. I mean, again, none of these are good. None of these are great. Obviously, these are all bad. But it's not. You shouldn't really be comparing things. But when you start to see the numbers in here, it makes you. It hits you differently, I think, at the same time. So James Ransone passed away at age 46 from suicide, and it's very sad.
Dude.
And he was in, I think, again, recognizably, at Chapter 2, I think is a big one, certainly one that we covered, where he played the older Eddie Casbrack. He was also in both Sinister movies, Black Phone 2, I guess he made a cameo in. Didn't see that. I think that's the one that came out last year. I think had a bigger role in The Wire. For anyone that watched The Wire, is Ziggy. I think appearances here and there, but 46 years old, passed away in December, and it sounded like had a tough life, struggled with substance addictions throughout his life. He in 2021 disclosed that he had been sexually abused by a math tutor in the 90s. So one has to imagine, obviously, pretty tortured existence, and
Jesus Christ, dude.
Really, really, really awful. So not much good to say about it, but
his wife put a really touching
yeah,
post on Instagram that fucking, oh man, it drew a tear. Oh, so memoriam's a rough
one. I did see that. So rest in peace. It's a tough deal. It's a really tough deal. So moving to our next person to talk about, someone who I believe we have mentioned a little bit, in passing, I think, on, I guess, probably the 2020, one of the 2025 episodes where I talked about the studio. Catherine O'Hara, unfortunately died at age 71. I think pretty shockingly, just kind of suddenly. I know that they had just started work on the season 2 of the studio, and I'm sure they had every intention of having her be a part of it. And I think it later has come out that she had an illness, and that I think maybe she had been diagnosed with cancer, and I don't know that any of that was disclosed to the public. So maybe it was something that she was privately experiencing while continuing to work, and obviously catches up with you. But she's a fucking legend. I mean,
for sure.
In terms of her career, in terms of she's incredibly funny, incredibly charismatic, incredibly charming. Had great roles in Beetlejuice, the first 2 Home Alone movies, of course, as Kevin's mom.
Yep.
And I think, I don't know if it's I don't think it's a show that you watched, but it is a show that I spent quite a bit of time watching, and that's Schitt's Creek, where that was a later in career, and she was incredible in it. And she played kind of the mother figure in the family. I know she was in the most recent season of The Last of Us as well. And like I said, the studio, she was really, really fun and lovely in season 1 of that, which is a show I would continue to recommend on Apple TV, Apple TV Plus, I guess. But yeah, Schitt's Creek. I mean, definitely would recommend people watch Schitt's Creek, because you're going to get some incredible Catherine O'Hara stuff in there as Moira Rose. Great. I mean, lots of other things I'm not naming right now, but won 2 Primetime Emmys, won a Golden Globe, 4 SAG Awards. So, very celebrated career, and just a very impressive woman that unfortunately is no longer with us.
I watch her every year, and all the Home Alones.
Every Christmas time.
Probably, I'd say every Halloween too. I mean,
Kevin.
Yeah, in the airplane. Definitely, like you say, a legend, for sure. That was a big one. That was a big surprise there.
Yeah, no, very much a holy shit, what, sort of announcement. So big loss, big loss. Our next entry, we have just a few names left, a few people to talk about. I did say it would be extended. I warned people in advance. James Van Der Beek, age 48, had been diagnosed with colorectal cancer in 2023. Let the public know about the diagnosis in 2024, and it seemed like he was doing okay for a bit. And obviously it came back with the vengeance. And this February is when he passed away, about a month ago, roughly a month ago. And 48, man. I mean, obviously most well known for Dawson's Creek, playing the titular Dawson on Dawson's Creek. But showed up and a few other things too. Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. I think he had a more extended role on. Was in Varsity Blues as well. I know he popped up at some of the View Askew stuff, like the Kevin Smith stuff. I know I think he played maybe himself or something on it. I could be wrong. I think he might have played himself in some of those. Yeah, no, I mean, 48. I know he was married, had like 6 kids. Like it's just it's not a good situation. Definitely very sad. Yeah. I find myself at a loss for words in terms of, I can go on and on, like they were in this, and and that's great and all, but that's this 48 is just a really 48 and leaving behind a family like that is just a really, really tough deal. And you
sure.
probably prepare, and the worst might be a possibility, certainly when you get a diagnosis like that. But I'm sure you're never really prepared for it. So,
no.
Yeah.
Definitely a rough one. This one was, I feel like this one has been in the, it's been front and center because of the GoFundMe and stuff.
There's been some, I'll say dramatics with the GoFundMe for his family. And, and it's kind of one of those things like, okay, well, I mean, he's an actor. Surely he was making money. And, and there's a whole weird thing about a house that they were renting. And I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I do know the American healthcare system is absolutely fucked.
Totally
I
fucked.
think there's a very realistic possibility that even if he was bringing in money and getting, residuals from Dawson's Creek, that you're trying to kick cancer's ass and you're probably throwing every resource you have at it. So I think there's probably... It's probably somewhere in the middle of it. I mean, and the family didn't start the GoFundMe. I think it was started by friends of the family, So I don't know. I think it's completely valid. Don't give celebrities money if you don't have money to give, or celebrities' families. Like you shouldn't be putting yourself in a bad place to help other people out. But if you have the resources and if there's a genuine need there, then I don't really see an issue with it personally. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know all the details, and people have definitely strong feelings on the matter, and I'm probably both siding this and not helping the matter at all. But I kind of I don't know. I get it
because most correct answers are actually always in the middle. Always. You know what I'm saying? The
truth. Yeah.
It's one of those things. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're, I don't know. Like, who are you to even speculate? Honestly, who are we to speculate? We don't know what their fucking finances are.
Yeah, we really truly don't. I mean,
and who is anybody? If their close friends say, "Hey, they're hurting for money," they put out a GoFundMe. Don't contribute to it if you feel like not contributing to it. You know what I mean? Who are you to pass judgment?
And I do know that, like, back when he was still alive, like, I know he was selling shit from like Dawson's Creek and Varsity Blues and stuff, like memorabilia, to try to raise money
for his family,
cover his treatment. Well, I think cover his treatment quite literally. So I mean, he's very recognizable. Dawson's Creek was a very popular show, but I don't think that James Van Der Beek was was bringing home huge bags of cash, left and right. He wasn't that kind of actor. You know what I mean? He's not a Leonardo DiCaprio or, someone who's getting just or Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid, $50 million just to be in something, like he wasn't that kind of actor. So I mean, and I think there's definitely, we don't know everything. I don't know everything about his personal finances and everything. 6 kids is a lot, and that's fucking expensive right there. You have a third of that, and I'm sure that you feel strain here and there, I would guess. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I'm not stricken with a incurable cancer either,
Right.
It's it's brutal, man. What the fuck's wrong with? I just want to know what the hell's wrong with people, Well,
a lot of things probably, but it's nothing that we'll be able to. It's nothing we'll be able to hash out and figure out just by talking about it right now. It unfortunately is just a fact of life.
The older I get, the more I'm convinced that the internet is just ruined.
Well, I do. I think probably a net negative, and I love the internet, and it's the reason we're able to do this. So obviously, it's positive in some ways, but on the whole, maybe a net negative.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. definitely affecting the youths in a pretty massive sort of way. I mean, maybe traditional bullying is bad too, but I don't know. It's I don't know. It's not all good. Let's put it that way. It's not all sunshine and roses. That's for sure. And neither is this section, and we will continue with the passing of Robert Duvall at age 95. You see 95, and no disrespect to Mr. Duvall, but it kind of feels like, all right, dude, solid run.
Yeah.
You cannot knock 95. A storied career, make it to 95, get to probably enjoy some retirement. I think he did some stuff as he was quite a bit older, but I think definitely winded down a bit, to enjoy his later days. He was the oldest actor ever nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for The Judge, which was a 2014 film he did with Robert Downey Jr., who I just mentioned. And that record has since been surpassed by Christopher Plummer. So anyway, not the point.
How about that?
No, great career for Robert Duvall, including The Godfather, Apocalypse Now,
Days of Thunder.
Sure. Yeah.
Geronimo.
Let's see. Yeah.
Deep Impact. Holy shit, Deep Impact.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This guy was in
Oscar
everything.
nominations for The Apostle, the one you just mentioned, A Civil Action, The Great Santini as well. In
Gone in
addition
60
to
seconds.
Godfather and Apocalypse Now. He was Boo Radley in the 1962 To Kill a Mockingbird as well. Hey, pretty long, lengthy filmography. Great career. Yeah, I mean,
A lot of stuff.
hell of a life right there. Hell of a resume, hell of a life. Lots of stuff on there. Newsies, it's a classic. A lot of movies I haven't seen, I'll have to say.
The Road.
Definitely a lot of movies I
The
haven't
Road.
seen. The Road, it's a good one. Looks like last films were in 2022. Hustle and The Pale Blue Eye. Quite a bit on the TV front, but more in the early ages. It looks like he did some bit stuff. Mostly a film actor, it looks like. But yeah. 95, like I said, hell of a run. So rest in peace to Robert Duvall.
It's awesome to reflect on a 95-year-old. I'm just saying. I mean, 95-year-old has a resume,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Made a significant impact, and I don't know. Definitely feels different than
for sure. No, very hits very different. It's a loss, but it is definitely something where it's kind of just like, all right, like, man, like you did a lot in those 95 years.
Guy, yeah, look what this guy
like,
did.
Look at everything. Yeah, no, very, very, very impressive to look back on. Absolutely. Finally, back to something that's none of them are good, but definitely, like I said, some are just like, oh man. Eric Dane passed away, age 53. Was diagnosed pretty recently with ALS, which is a very debilitating disease that can
tax your muscles, right?
Tax your muscles. You kind of just lose your ability to physically function while your mental faculties are basically fully intact. It's like kind of just one of the most truly awful things to have, and in most instances it's always been fatal, but usually it's fatal within, like, you get a life expectancy of maybe a few years. Like Stephen Hawking was kind of like the one exception where he had a really quite lengthy life after he was diagnosed. But Eric Dane, I think, was diagnosed, announced he was diagnosed in April of 2025 and passed away just about mid-February, a few weeks ago. So very quick evolution there. Yeah, I mean, mostly TV side for him. He was Multiple Man in X-Men The Last Stand. Might have been the first thing I ever saw him in, to be fair. Small role. But I think most notably, Dr. Mark Sloan, a.k.a. McSteamy on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, for sure.
Big role, I think, that put him on the map. And, I think really... I think that was it. I think that was kind of his big break. Went on to do The Last Ship, where I think he was the main character. TNT drama. Was also in Euphoria. I believe has a part in this upcoming third season that's dropping sometime this year, and we talked about it. And that may, that will be one of his final roles that we'll get. It was kind of, there's an interesting thing. Netflix is this sort of series that they started called Famous Last Words. I don't know if you know anything about this, but basically it's interviews with folks who, it's all filmed in anticipation of the fact that obviously everyone dies. They will die at some point, and it's basically just like hours of an interview with someone, and then they edit it down to about an hour-long thing. And they've only put out 2 episodes so far. The first one they put out last year was Jane Goodall, the primatologist, anthropologist. And then they put out one for Eric Dane after he passed away, and you could really see how the disease was affecting his ability to talk, and just physically impacting him. But you can still see that it's he's himself. He's fighting through it. Trying to communicate. And the whole idea is they publish these interviews posthumously so that the interview can kind of just tell their story or their message, whatever they want to do. And I know that he had some stuff that he was kind of addressed more directly to his kids. Which was I don't know. It's really actually kind of interesting, but obviously fucking heartbreaking, and just like I mean, actually, how are you not a blubbery mess by the time you finish watching something like that? I don't know.
You would be, but it's like if you know that,
especially
even
if you
don't know, especially if you know, right? I mean, like you leave a will for people. We live in the 21st century where people leave. Yeah,
right. A will's kind of an impersonal document of here's all my shit, or here's my money, and here's how it gets distributed. And it's not really a personal sort of thing. I mean, obviously it can be, a very specific piece of personal property.
And memoirs and all sorts of stuff, Why would you not record a video and interview?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a perfectly
just a way to say goodbye. Yeah, no, I agree. It could be very profound. I mean, I think, certainly done in the right way. So, and I only saw snippets. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw little bits of it. But
you said that there was a first one with Jane Goodall. Is that
and I didn't know that happened.
I didn't know that. Neither did I.
But I guess it's on Netflix. So, she passed away last October, and they put that up 2 days later. I'm sure they're sitting on some, and we don't know who, because I think that would be kind of weird if they're like, hey, get excited for when this person dies, we're going to put their shit up. I don't think I think it's very much not supposed to be that. But I'm sure they've got kind of more in the can, more or less ready to go whenever obviously the sad but appropriate moment arises. So rest in peace to Eric Dane. And we will say that is quite enough of that. Thank you. Please, everyone, live a little bit longer. Most people, anyway. I'm not naming names. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say anything. But usually it's a really, really tough thing to move on from the in memoriam section and then be like, here's all this fun stuff. So I thought, why don't we have a nice little transition and talk about the death of Hollywood next, and the death of Warner Brothers as we know it, at least at a minimum. But maybe some implications beyond that.
I think last time we spoke about this, Warner.
It's been a while.
Netflix was leading the charge on WB. Or not WB. They were leading the charge over Paramount, I guess. Paramount could not send in a successful bid. I think they were trying to give cash directly to shareholders or something like that. That was the last time I checked in on it.
And I don't think we've really talked about it much since I think maybe the Wake Up Dead Man episode is where we kind of snuck in the whole thing of like, hey, Netflix is buying WB. Holy shit, that's crazy. Thought it was going to be Paramount for sure. Things have changed. Things have evolved. Things have developed. I have opened a new beer. That's the first development. So my new brew is another Dogfish Head called 61, which is an IPA brewed with Pinot Noir grape juice and I might be chugging it while we talk about this piece of news.
Yeah, give it to me.
We'll see.
What do we got?
The headline, the news, is that Paramount Skydance is now poised to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, as Netflix has now completely bowed out of the bidding war. There's a lot more to it than that. I will try to recount it best I can, and then we can talk about, okay, what does this mean? Last we checked in, as he kind of said, I mean, Netflix had actually closed a deal to buy WB. It was a donezo deal. It's on Netflix.com or whatever. Like, it's announced, it's being told to shareholders and everything like that. It's full on happening. They've agreed to acquire WB. Obviously, there's quite a bit of backlash in the sense that, what does that mean for WB as a movie studio? What does that mean? All their shit's going to streaming? Does that mean movie theaters are going to die a horrible, not slow, but just very, very fast and probably relatively painless death, but painful for theater goers? Lots of valid questions to think about. Basically, it's one of those things, a massive acquisition like this takes time. You need regulatory approval from the powers that be. You need a lot of things to kind of happen before it actually finally goes through. And we sort of saw that. We've seen it with a lot of things, but, with Fox and Disney was certainly a big one that's happened in the span of this podcast, at least. And basically Paramount kept offering more. They tried to do like a hostile takeover situation of going directly to the shareholders instead of the board, instead of, the WB board, and saying, hey, no, we're offering you a way better value, blah, blah, blah. And one of the big things that was different about the offers was Paramount was trying to buy all of Warner Brothers Discovery, which would include the Discovery sides, CNN and all that, whereas Netflix really just wanted the WB Studios sort of things, which would obviously be the film side, probably video game side, and TV side like HBO Max and stuff like that. And that was a big deal. And basically the way that the offer split, Paramount's offer was technically higher overall, but it valued Discovery, CNN at a really, really low amount that, it kind of felt like Netflix's deal was technically a more bang for the buck kind of offer. Paramount kept trying to give the same offer over. They did it like 10 times in a row. They just gave the same offer and they got rejected every single time. And it was kind of just like, I guess Ellison just doesn't know what happens when people tell him no, because he's a spoiled rich kid and that's never happened in his life before kind of thing is really what it started to feel like. Like it was getting sad at a certain point. What changed is Paramount finally upped their offer. They upped their offer. I think at a certain point, Netflix had kind of tried to sweeten the pot by changing some of their offer from stock options to cash, like straight cash. But I think it was still the same value. It was just basically, more immediacy to what they're offering. But Paramount finally upped their offer. And part of why that was allowed to happen is I think Netflix has been sort of wary of the fact that the powers that be, we'll just leave it there, we're not going to be thrilled about this whole deal going through. And we're going to face roadblocks. It's kind of been made public that, like, it's not going to be an easy road to have this kind of go through, pass through with flying colors, no issues whatsoever. So one of the things they wanted to do in terms of making sure that, it didn't look like there was any sort of unfair practices that led to this deal, coming together was, hey, we'll leave the table, we'll leave it open. If Paramount wants to do anything, if there's any other suitors that want to do anything, like, we're not going to say no. Like, you can throw your name in the hat, throw another offer in the hat, whatever. We're not going to block that. We'll let WB do their due diligence and reassess if there's some new information or whatever that comes out that we need to reassess. And that's what happened. Paramount finally upped their offer, and WB said, okay, yeah, sure. We'll take this now superior offer because it's more money. It's more value for us as WB, And they opened the door to Netflix and said, hey, you've got 4 days to match this offer. We'll stick with our deal if you match. And I swear it was like 5 minutes. Netflix was like, we're good. No, we're good. Fuck that. It was really, really, really quickly developing thing where Paramount upped it. WB said yes. Netflix is like, no, we're good. We're out. We're fucking out. We're totally
There was
out.
a clause. I think I did read that there was there is a clause where they got paid. They got paid a
That's correct.
good amount of money.
Netflix got paid
posts. I did-
$2.8 billion if for whatever reason the deal did not go through. Not of their fault because of WB deciding to do something else.
Right.
Netflix would be owed a $2.8 billion buyout option. So effectively, Netflix obviously had their company's name, in the headlines a lot. At the end of the day, they won't be acquiring WB, at least not right now. But they are $3 billion richer. They just got a quick cash infusion from Paramount. So Paramount is on the hook for that because they are now the new buyer. They're on the hook for paying that money off to Netflix directly. So there is that. That's part of it too. But yeah, at the end of the day.
So what happens? What happens next?
What happens next is it kind of has to go through the same channels that the WB Netflix deal would have. It has to get regulatory approval. All the contracts and everything the financing of it all has to fully get worked out.
So WB is
some
HBO,
time.
Right?
WB has HBO. That's right.
WB has HBO.
They've got all their own stuff. They have DC. They have. I don't know. I guess a lot of stuff. Looney Tunes. Game of Thrones. That's part of HBO, I guess. But in terms of some of the bigger stuff, I don't know what the other big franchises they really
have. Do they have other
big
do they have other big production companies?
I don't know. I think,
or is it just WB?
I think it's mostly WB at this point. There might be some that are like New Line, I think is part of it.
Okay.
Spyglass maybe is part of it. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a few. I don't know that there's a ton. I think most stuff goes through WB Pictures, more specifically. And I think DC is probably the big thing that they really have. I think other than HBO, I think those two are probably kind of the big things that come to mind quickly. And maybe I'm thinking about something. Maybe I'm forgetting about something. Harry Potter is a big one. That's obviously we're getting that on HBO. But yeah, I think that's those are their money makers is DC and Harry Potter, and I guess Minecraft and Barbie recently, just looking at some of the stuff that, has made quite a bit of money for them recently. Matrix, not that we have had a ton of movement on that front, but yeah, those are the heavy hitters for sure. So that's the kind of things you're thinking about in terms of now changing hands, from WB Discovery over to Paramount. And it felt like this was going to be a foregone conclusion when WB said, hey, we're up for sale, come buy us, because the Paramount Skydance is led by David Ellison, who is the son of Larry Ellison, who was one of the richest men in the world. And so daddy's got lots of money to put up for the kiddo, and that's where a lot of that's coming from. It's also coming from a lot of Middle Eastern countries, I believe. Like, it's a lot of foreign investors that will basically sort of have their hands in the pie of WB Discovery. I don't really know how this is financially feasible because Paramount is not a company that's making money right now. In fact, they're actively bleeding money. They posted like a half like a I want to say like a $500 billion loss in the last quarter. It's all being subsidized basically
by they're paying for the position of my living room. They're paying to have direct access to my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always encouraging. Sure.
It's a fascinating world that we're quickly turning into.
Yeah, lots of mega corporations, lots of foreign interests, maybe overriding American interests, one might say.
And there's a whole world out there. It's awfully cynical to say that those people want a stake in Hollywood to produce movies too. That's okay. But I don't know.
Potentially, yeah, not inherently a bad thing. The fact that it's a different country, but given the trajectory of Paramount since David Ellison and Skydance and everything has started, and the initiatification of CBS as a channel, CBS as a news network, it kind of feels like, oh, okay, so get ready for get ready for a lot of anti-woke and Nazified content potentially. Maybe it won't work that way. Maybe it won't go that way. It will take some time for this to happen. Maybe it'll take long enough that it will get held up at a certain point by the powers that be. That maybe will be different powers that be when the time comes. I don't know.
No.
All we can say right now is the powers that be are going to usher this through as fast as humanly possible, because it's definitely to their benefit. Overall, I mean, to have a massive, stake in Hollywood, stake in CNN and news networks and stuff like that. It's a pretty seismic deal overall. It's definitely depressing to think about the potential implications. Obviously, we haven't arrived at that point just yet.
But we're heading there.
And I'll be the first to say, like, I don't think Netflix owning WB Discovery would have been amazing. Like, I do think it definitely brought its own set of issues. This feels worse. This is definitely worse overall. I still don't. I mean, I kind of started and stopped, but like, I don't really understand the financials of this, because it's just like, how the fuck can they afford this? And like, how are they going to? Like, I get, they're getting some help. Like I said, Larry Ellison's footing the bill for half this shit probably, but I just don't understand. I don't see how this is going to be sustainable unless they're just going to do what WB and Discovery did when they merged, which is just hack the shit out of everything, cut as many jobs as possible, fire everyone.
Yeah.
And
lower overhead.
Shutter projects, like, it just kind of feels like that's where it's going. Netflix at least had the cash to sustain operations for a while. There maybe was less crossover. Like, Netflix is not really a theater first business. Obviously, it's kind of the point of it. So, I do think this is not going to be positive overall. And maybe it'll be fine. Maybe, maybe at a certain point it'll get their shit. I think there's a realistic possibility that in 5 years, both these companies are underwater, and Netflix is like, we still have the money to buy it for half the price now. Let's do that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but, I guess movie theaters might stay alive a little bit longer. So, I guess there's that. I don't know. It's more or less the topsy-turvy developments that we've had, and we've kind of arrived back at the point where it's just like, oh, the worst thing that could happen has happened. Yay.
We knew it was going to happen.
Yay. We've had so many good things happen lately that we really just, it's a bummer to have this one piece of bad news, but, because everything else is so good that, I guess we'll just have to.
It's funny. On Friday, I think it was last Friday, everything seemed to go my way at work. And after thing 3 went my way, I told everybody at work, I said, guys, we better buckle up. There's going to be a bad day ahead of us, because these things shouldn't be going good. And Friday, I think there were like 5 or 6 things that happened really good at work. It's like, guys, it's coming. It's going to be a bad day. Lo and behold, Monday came. And Monday was fucking terrible. It was awful on Monday.
Yeah, payback.
Yep.
Payback.
So it's always a balance. It's like the Force, there's always there's a balance.
Of course.
So
the light side and the dark. Yes.
What other news do we have?
Let's talk about other things. We have lots of other news. The other thing that we'll talk about at the top is a similar sort of businessy sort of thing, and then we'll move on to more fun pieces of news. This one, I think, is interesting. Certainly people on the internet will be happy about aspects of this news, and I'll be curious to hear your thoughts as well. Lucasfilm has announced a leadership transition. After 14 years of leading the studio, Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down as president of Lucasfilm, which I think it was kind of rumblings about this last year, and then she denied it, and then it kind of felt like, well, it seems like she's more or less just trying to tee it up, for people to come in and take over, when everyone's kind of ready to do so, when all the chess pieces are on the board, so to speak. So she's stepping down. She is stepping down, and in her place, she will be replaced by not one, but 2 people, one of which is Dave Filoni, the cowboy hat, Mr. Cowboy Hat himself, will be one half. He's going to be one half of those people taking over, and the other half will be Lenwyn Brennan taking over as co-president of Lucasfilm with Dave Filoni being
So we got
president and chief creative officer.
So we got a creative, and we have a business,
a creative in
guy.
a suit,
Okay.
a business woman. Yes. Yeah, and I think it's probably a template model similar to what we're seeing over at DC, with James Gunn being the creative guy and Peter Safran being the business guy, and maybe that's the idea of what they're going for. Like, I think Kathleen Kennedy's definitely more of a traditional, CEO type I guess president or whatever, like, I think, she's been a producer, but, I think a producer, generally speaking, is not the most creative person involved in making a movie. Whereas Dave Filoni, made the Clone Wars and Rebels, and has gone on to work with Johnny V on The Mandalorian. He's done
celebrated creative.
Ahsoka, yeah, I mean, he's kind of George Lucas's
protege.
I guess the closest thing to a protege that you could have, for Star Wars. Like, he, next to George Lucas, I think has kind of been the Star Wars guy through and through. And so this feels like a natural sort of evolution for his role, and
what a career trajectory
imagine,
he's had. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah. No. And same story with James Gunn. Like, holy shit. Like, you know, like, you just keep working things, and like, they, suddenly big things happen. And that totally makes sense. Like, I mean, he's been with Lucasfilm for decades now, and has done lots of great things, made lots of great things, probably will continue to be involved, I think, pretty heavily with all the stuff that, they've been working on, will continue to work on. But yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a change, I imagine we'll see, I don't know, probably a marked difference in sort of maybe what they're bringing to the big screen, what things are, going to TV, I imagine there will still be a huge animated focus, but it's a changing of the guard, and it's going to mean things are going to be run differently. So I think it's interesting. I'm kind of excited to see the future of Lucasfilm. I mean, I think that certainly Kathleen Kennedy's run has had its ups and downs. I've never been one of the internet types who gets very upset, about certain things. But at the same time, like,
certain things are better than others.
Was pretty disappointing, pretty bad. It feels like there's I don't know, there's definitely, like I said, there's been ups and downs. There's been ups and downs, but I don't know. What do you think? How do you feel about all this?
I think it's, I'll be honest with you. I don't, I think that, it's my opinion, that well-made things will make the money they need. I don't necessarily buy into the fact that I need a suit to work with. Bring me good things. I'll authorize good things. If good things are being presented to me, then I will do this. You know what I mean? I right now I think that a suit is not required. And I think that it squanders the creative potential, especially when you have somebody like Dave Filoni, who's more than capable of, like, steering the ship creatively, Mm-hmm. But that's I understand why you put a suit in there. I get it. I'm not really a fan of it, because I feel like that position kind of just squanders the creativity, or makes it to where it's more paced out, right? So if I have 6 things, well, instead of having 6 things this year, let's space it out and really, that way we keep the money flow coming, and this and that. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. I feel like the dollar's ruined a lot of things, dude. I feel like the dollar's ruined a lot of things.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, though, I think it is a business, so I think I sort of understand.
I understand it too. Absolutely, I get it.
I want the most creative and interesting things to get made, And I certainly don't want those things to get axed because, you know, we're worried that it's not going to make enough money, you know. Like I sort of definitely understand and agree with that, but I don't know. I think it's an interesting model.
At the end of the day, it has to turn. And if you're going to do anything, I guess having the creative at the top seldom happens. It's usually only the suit, right?
And so I think that's kind of where I'm at. Is it feels like it's at least not just the traditional sort of, you know, the suit at the top who, you know, says, oh, that's too expensive, we can't do that. You know, there's not even a person at the top to say, yeah, I know it's expensive, but it's really fucking cool, and here's why. You know, like, you know, to have, I think, at least that voice with the same level of, you know, I don't know, influence, I think can be helpful, you know, and so I'm curious to see how it goes. I mean, I will say, and I will say to Lin-Manuel Brennan's credit, and I don't know anything about her, to be quite honest, and I've just now read in the past 1 minute. She's been with Lucasfilm since 1999. She worked at ILM and became president there 2009, GM of Lucasfilm 2015, and then president and general manager of Lucasfilm Business in 2024. So again, definitely a suit, but has been with the company for a long, long time. So, you know, someone that,
okay. All right. Well, that builds confidence.
You know, they promoted within, more or less. It's not, let's bring in some, you know, outside person who, you know, is going to come in with a very different sort of, you know, vision and maybe not an understanding of how things have worked traditionally. And so I would not expect these two to do the same thing that Kathy Kennedy would be doing. But that's okay too. Kathleen Kennedy was not perfect. You know, and I don't know, some new blood, some energy changing, you know, might be a good net positive for Lucasfilm, I think, is kind of how I feel about it. So I'm excited to see where they go with things. So branching off that, one big thing, which I'm sure was under Kathleen Kennedy, but I'm sure Dave Filoni and Lin-Manuel Brennan would feel okay about it. They haven't axed it yet. Big piece of news. Star Wars is coming back to theaters next year, 2027. Ooh. We're getting a re-release of the original Star Wars, and I do mean the original Star Wars.
No way, dude. For real?
The classic theatrical release, a newly restored version of it, but to me, and all this sounds like it's the legit fucking theatrical version. You know, all the flaws still intact, no extra bullshit added in there. You know, all the fucking special edition changes. You know, garbage Jabba scene with really bad CGI. None of that's happening. No Greedo and Han shooting at the same time sort of bullshit. No, it's just Han's the only one shooting in this version. So yeah, we're going to be getting a theatrical re-release of Star Wars. And again, sounds like, I don't know if they found a print that they're restoring or how they're going about some sort of restoration, but I think it's coming IMAX, maybe Dolby, which is pretty badass. So I've been watching Anna's DVD copy of that fucking theatrical edition, which let me tell you, looks real bad. I'm really, really stoked to see what they do with this. I think I will be making my way to a theater in 2027 for this.
That's a big one. That might be a little Bennett's introduction to Star Wars, honestly.
Could do that. That might be a way to do it.
I've been holding out until he's like
another year. He'll be a year older, you know?
Exactly.
Seeing it in a theater, like when are you going to have a chance to show him the classic original in a theater, you know?
I've never seen the original in the theater. Have you seen the original in the theater?
It's a really good question. Not in a proper theater, I don't think. I've seen one of them with a live orchestra at a outside amphitheater.
That's cool.
Where it was projected, which is cool. And it was either this or Empire. I can't remember. I think it might have been Empire, but I can't remember specifically.
That's pretty awesome.
I want to say it was Empire, but I could be wrong. But no, I don't think I've seen it in a true proper theatrical format. I don't think I have. So I've seen it a bunch of times, but I guess never quite like that.
Never in a theater.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
That's
no,
cool.
it'll be a big one. So I don't know if February 19th. So we're looking at just about a year's time. This will be coming to theaters. So
Okay.
really, really excited for that. And it's a really cool thing. You know, it's been so long that we've been deprived of a true,
This is under
good quality
Kathleen
version.
Kennedy, or this is under the new stewardship.
I think this was announced before the leadership transition, so I think it's fair to say it's a under the old leadership. But again, I think people have been clamoring for just give us the fucking original versions of these movies, like, you know, warts and all. Like, that's the way that they were made. That's the way they're supposed to be. You know, like, it's okay. You know, we don't need everything to be cleaned up and prettied up or ruined in some circumstances. Like, really excited for that. Now we can keep going. We got some other news to get into. 28 Years Later 3, Part 3 sounds like it's happening.
Okay.
I know you have not seen The Bone Temple unless you've seen it in the past couple weeks since we talked about it coming out back in January.
When it pops up on the VOD or whatever, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I think the first one came to Netflix because I think it's a Sony release, so I imagine it'll be up there sometime this year. I don't know when. I feel like they usually give it a few months before they kick it over to streaming, but it'll probably be VOD before long. If I don't think it's quite there yet, but it does sound like things are moving forward, which I think, you know, what I will say in terms of The Bone Temple is it did not do very well financially. It was a pretty harsh drop-off from the first 28 Years Later. Obviously, I think probably a couple factors. Number one, 6-month gap. That can be difficult sometimes because it's like, didn't we just get one of these? And yeah, you did. And I think this kind of second problem, which kind of latches onto that, is I think the first one was pretty polarizing. You know, I know you weren't in love with it. I definitely liked it more than you, but there were definitely people that liked it a lot less than you did, even too. You know what I mean? So, and it's a hard rated R sort of thing. So it's never anything that was going to be, you know, a huge movie. But the first one, I say the first one being the first 28 years, did pretty well. And this one just did not do anything close to that. Underperformed quite significantly. Just generally, but also especially in comparison to its predecessor.
Yet they're making a third.
And yet they maybe are making the third. It sounds like they are moving forward with it. They greenlit it technically, that's because we're backtracking on news. They greenlit it before The Bone Temple came out. So it's possible that this changes. Oh. It's possible that they say, actually, JK lol. I think it would be a shame for it to not get a third movie. Number one, you shouldn't be spending a lot of money on these movies because you don't need to. But number two...
They shot the first one with fucking cell phones, didn't they?
Basically, it was a fucking handheld camcorder. Oh yes, 28 Years later. Yes. Yeah, no, I'm getting confused about my first one verbiage, but yes. Yeah, no, going back to 28 days, you had fucking VHS camcorder shit. 28 years later, they're filming this with a bunch of fucking iPhones. You know, like... You know, like, come on, they don't need a massive budget sort of, you know, for these. But I think it's a planned, you know, 3 of 3. And having seen The Bone Temple, we'll talk about it a little bit later, and maybe we'll revisit it with a fuller conversation down the line whenever it does make its way onto your TV screen. Like, it ends in a place where it kind of feels like a third movie should be happening, and I think to leave it where they leave it would be very disappointing. It's like the first movie in that there's a handoff in a way where it's setting up the next movie. And if you don't get the next movie, then it's kind of just like, that's a weird ending, you know? I think that it should happen. I think Cillian Murphy was interviewed recently and said that he's game, you know, to come back for it, which I think would be very cool. So, you know, to kind of round it out with maybe Cillian Murphy back, I think, you know, would be kind of a way to, you know, finish it all off, you know, and Alex Garland is at least, again, assuming everything is moving forward as it has been reported, Alex Garland will be back to write it. I know at one point Danny Boyle expressed interest in directing the third one. I don't know if that's still the case or whatever, but I don't know. I hope it happens. I would like to see I would like for it to be seen through, if that makes sense. I want to see where the story goes. I know. It's interesting enough to me. I've liked both of them, I will say. So I definitely want to see a third one, just because selfishly I've liked both of them so far.
And I would like to see if the second one elevates my opinion of the first one, which definitely could, because they're presumably pretty tightly connected. So
yeah, no, there's some shared DNA, and I don't know. They are very different movies from each other, though, in their own sort of ways. Like I definitely
are they really?
Yeah, a little bit different from each other.
Well, I'm curious now. That builds a little curiosity, because I would figure that it would just pick up immediately where the second one left off.
It does, but then it kind of goes different places, and I think it's shot differently. It's a different director than the first one, so it's not exactly I don't know.
One for one.
It's not it's someone else putting their stamp on a similar thing, in a way. So,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have it in my catching up section later. I don't know that I really need to. I've kind of already said my thoughts on it, so maybe I'll just say and I think whenever you do watch it, we'll come back and talk about it, whether it's in a catching up section, if it's like we did with the first one where we've got to fill a week and it's now out, let's just talk about it, like we could still do an episode however many months after it comes out, potentially, and get into it. But no, I mean, I think the only thing I'll say, just to keep it all contained here, is that first movie ended with like some Teletubbies Power Ranger shit, sort of like, it was pretty wacky. Yeah. And that is not emblematic of the second movie. The second movie's pretty gnarly. It's pretty raw, and it's pretty fucked up. And Jackie O'Connell's great in it. The Jimmies are fucked up but great in it, and it's yet another adventure for Spike. The continuing adventures of Spike. Ralph Fiennes is fucking fantastic in it as well. I've heard a lot of people say they liked the second one better than the first one, and I would be curious to see if you feel that way, because I might feel that way.
You think you're in that camp?
I might feel that way. I liked the first one a lot. I think the second one was maybe a little bit more consistent, within itself. It doesn't really have as much of the iPhone camera stuff, the way that it's shot. It's not as Danny Boyle-esque, which is good or bad, depending on your perspective. But I think it's got some interesting plot developments for sure, which I will be curious to see how you respond to, because it's a little out there, but not Power Ranger Teletubby stuff. So anyway, I will leave it there. I want to see more. We can come back to it whenever you see the Bone Temple, whenever you visit the Bone Temple.
All right.
Moving on. Brainiac. We're getting Brainiac in Man of Tomorrow. And it's been officially confirmed, and we have casting for it. German actor Lars Eidinger will be playing the super intelligent antagonist Brainiac in the Superman follow-up. I do not know this man, but I see this man in a picture, and I think I could see it. This looks like a Brainiac kind of guy to me.
Kudos to the casting. Okay. Yeah, that's a Brainiac. I can see it.
It's got the face, head shape for it.
It's like
I assume if James Gunn says this is the guy, then he's the fucking guy. He says, in our worldwide search for Brainiac, Lars Eidinger rose to the top. Welcome to the DCU, Lars. Brainiac is a hyper-intelligent alien android with a tyrannical thirst for absolute knowledge of the universe. Sounds like a pretty good foe for Superman and maybe Lex Luthor to team up against, potentially. Put your differences aside when a fucking alien comes to town.
Alien android. I didn't know he was an android either.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't know
he was in Jay Kelly, apparently, which I watched 7 minutes of and never went back to, but would like to at some point. Really, really like Superman. Is in my top 5 for the year. I'm really excited to see what James Gunn does with a proper follow-up. And Brainiac sounds like a cool direction, so I'm pretty excited.
All right.
Any other thoughts?
No, same.
This guy looks like Brainiac. Okay.
Same.
All right. Well, on the DC front as well, but in the DC Elseworlds front, some pretty big casting news for the Batman Part 2. We talked about it I guess probably the last Brews news and previews that ScarJo was joining the cast, and we weren't sure who she was going to be playing. We speculated. We've now learned that at least he's in talks. It's not signed on the dotted line, but Sebastian Stan jumping from the Marvel universe over to the DC universe.
What's going on here?
The word on the street is that Sebastian Stan will be playing none other than Harvey Dent in The Batman Part 2. So how do you feel about that?
You look at his face, I can kind of see that. I can see a Harvey Dent.
You believe in him? Do you believe in this Harvey Dent?
I feel like I could. I feel like I could do that.
Yeah. Be shame if he got some acid on one half of his face at some point.
He needs to be like, I don't know if Robert Pat. I don't know. I'm going to sound like an idiot. But I'm going to say it, and I think you're going to know what I mean.
All right.
I think Robert.
Well, let's figure it out.
I feel like Robert Pattinson's more of like a method actor kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he really dives in deep. And I think if you're a part of these Batman projects, I feel like you really got to dig in deep. You know what I'm saying? I think that I can see Sebastian Stan playing that role, but I need to forget that he's Bucky. You know what I mean? I need to forget that ScarJo is ScarJo when they're in this movie. And the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is that they dig in, like they just feel like different people.
Yeah, well, I think I could wrap my head around Sebastian Stan.
I think I can too. I can see it.
I think Scarlett Johansson's definitely the one for me where I kind of always see Scarlett Johansson, even though she's, we talked about this, she's very talented, she's very capable. It's hard to not see her as Scarlett Johansson. Whereas I think Sebastian Stan, definitely, to me, has a little bit more flexibility in what he can do. I mean, I'm sure he's going to look like Sebastian Stan and whatever, but I feel like I've seen more shades of him where I can kind of see him sink into a role more. I guess more chameleon-like anyway. But I don't disagree.
She's got to sink into a role. That's the best way to describe it. You know what I mean? You have to really be enveloped by the scene and the setting, all of it. And you need to kind of like disappear. So I'm going to be. They're throwing a lot of star power at this. I feel like, and I'm curious to see how this works out. Because I feel like if it's, I don't know. I feel like I feel like the first Batman movie. Maybe it's because Colin Farrell was like he just disappeared. Like he disappeared. Let's
just get these people and just bury them in makeup. Yeah, so that way they are just transformed physically into different people.
Exactly.
Turn this handsome man into a different looking handsome man.
I feel like I feel like I didn't recognize anybody in that movie almost, And, it was a really special
certainly
experience.
I don't know. Everyone just kind of sunk into their roles, even if they were just sort of, they look like Jeffrey Wright looked like himself, but he was fucking Gordon. Well, I guess he had hair, so it was a little bit different. They physically transformed him a little bit. They gave him a little bit of hair. Robert Pattinson, just angsty version of himself, but still felt, I don't know, different. He's a great chameleon-like actor, though. Like Robert Pattinson can just fucking play anyone at this point. He's definitely in that bucket. I feel like it, dude. Can do anything. But no, I don't disagree. And it's hard to separate certainly some of these actors from their most notable, biggest roles. And especially, when it feels like, I don't know, like ScarJo definitely does, like Jurassic as an example. It's just like, she's not doing anything different in there. She's just being herself. And like, that's fine. That's okay. That's what she's getting paid the big bucks to do. But you got to give us
she disappeared in Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, there's movies where she's done it. Absolutely. It's just more often than not, she's just kind of
ScarJo,
more or less herself, a super powered or I guess, super heroic version or whatever or not, but or she's got a gun, so it's different. I don't know. But it's interesting. I'm intrigued by it, and I'm intrigued by the inclusion of Harvey Dent. I'd like to see a Harvey Dent, but not Two-Face in a movie. We've only really had that, I think, once in Batman 89, where it was a kind of brief sort of thing, but not a huge role for Harvey Dent. Like, obviously, it was like 90% Harvey Dent, and The Dark Knight, but then it was still the 10% of Two-Face, and then that was it. Character's dead. So I'd like to see, like, if we're gonna take
More
this to
Harvey
a Batman
Dent?
Part 3, just a full-on Harvey Dent, with the shades of maybe what would be to come in Two-Face. But I kind of feel like we've already had a movie where we've seen the rise and fall of Harvey Dent. I'd like to see just the rise and maybe one movie for now. I think it could be a more interesting way of doing it. So that way we're getting maybe some other villains that we haven't seen on the big screen before for Batman,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Cool to see recognizable
support that.
characters, so
It'll make the
but
fall that much more potent if we do spend more time with a proper
Yeah.
a proper Dent,
Yeah, I think so. So I'm intrigued. All right, moving on to, we're just going to quickly go through the Golden Globes, the 83rd annual Golden Globes. They happened at some point in our lifetime. I think last month maybe is when it happened. The Oscars are coming up in just a couple weeks. January. It happened in January. It was a couple months ago. I take it back. The Oscars are coming up. Nominations have been out for that for a while. We've sort of talked about the Del Toro snub and stuff like that. And I almost included the Oscar nominations as a separate piece of news here, but I'm kind of folding in here just to be like, hey, they're out there. It's happening in a couple weeks. We've done Oscars-focused episodes in the past couple of years, maybe a few years. Maybe we'll do the same thing here unless there's if it makes sense timing wise, but I figure if nothing else, it'll just be easier to just talk about all the winners either on a Brews News and Previews next month or on an Oscars episode if it comes to that. So we'll do that for the Golden Globes, and the Golden Globes are not quite as big as the Oscars, but are certainly celebrated in their own right. So just running down the,
If
the
I
list
won
of
one, I'd
winners.
be celebrating it.
Yeah, you'd be all right with that. You wouldn't be so upset about it. Hamnet won for Best Motion Picture Drama. One Battle After Another won for Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy. K-Pop Demon Hunters Animated Film. The Secret Agent won for non-English language motion picture. Jesse Buckley for Hamnet acting. Wagner Moura for male actor for The Secret Agent. Timmy Chalamet won for Martimus Supremius for musical or comedy. Tiana Taylor won for One Battle After Another supporting role. Stellan Skarsgård in Sentimental Value, which is a movie I'd like to watch pretty soon, but haven't made my way to. Paul Thomas Anderson won Best Director, as well as Best Screenplay, One Battle After Another. Ludwig Göransson for score for Sinners, Golden, K-Pop Demon Hunters. Sinners won Box Office and Cinematic Achievement. Oh, and then TV side. That was all the film side of things. The Pit was the big winner for Best TV Show Drama. Okay. Studio won for Comedy. Adolescence for Limited. And Noah Wiley did win for The Pit for acting. Gene Smart for Hacks. And others. There's more. Kind of felt like I was starting to just literally read out every single fucking winner. So I'm going to cut myself off there and say those were kind of the big deal winners for the Golden Globes. Maybe a precursor to what's going to happen with the Oscars. Maybe we'll be getting some Hamnet and One Battle After Another love. Not as much Sinners love in that bunch. Obviously some wins there, but not quite as at least the nominations. I think we did talk about this, that like 16 nominations for Sinners is the most of all time. So we'll see if that translates to winners as well.
All right.
But there you go. It's the Golden Globes for you. All right. Prime Video, we're getting a Tomb Raider live action series starring Sophie Turner as Lara Croft. And Amazon has put out a first look as Sophie Turner all dressed up as Lara Croft. She's got the shorts. She's got the tank top. She's got the sunglasses. She's got a gun. What do you think? Is she pulling it off?
It is loading, and I will tell you my initial thought. Okay.
It's very classic video game Lara Croft in a way too. It's not the modern Crystal Dynamics one that we sort of got with Alicia Vikander.
Yeah, it's classic looking. I feel like if Sophie Turner's going to act like this character, I feel like Sophie Turner's going to have to bring it.
She's gonna have to sink into this role, is what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. she's gonna have to be charismatic.
I don't disagree.
Fuck, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Loud and bombastic.
I don't
She's
know.
got fucking Elton John glasses.
I don't.
You gotta, you're gonna have to really deliver.
Sort of Matt Murdock as well, I guess.
Yeah. Matt Murdock glasses, some red circle glasses.
Yeah, I mean, she's wearing the right clothes, but this is going to come down to the performance for sure.
Yeah,
like whether she's got the right sort of attitude and personality to pull it off. And I don't see it from the things that I've seen her in.
No,
but I've only seen her in a few things. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's I'm not going to pass judgment, without even at least seeing a trailer. Obviously, like she looks right, she looks good. Definitely could work.
Is this the one where she was flipping around? I feel like there was a trailer or something that came out, right? Or was it the video game? There's
I don't think there's any full trailer.
Video game.
There's they're working on, there's a new video game, then there's like a remake one as well. Yeah, there's a few things that are coming out on the video game side of things too. So, which is cool. I like Tomb Raider. I like those Angie Tomb Raiders, man.
Nothing wrong.
Bonus episodes for those.
Oh, that's a dive. I haven't watched that in a long time. Oh my goodness.
Maybe next year, because I think the series is probably. I think the series is a next year series, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, fair enough. That's good.
I think it's started production. I think maybe we'll get this. Maybe early next year or something like that might be good. I would like it. I think Tomb Raider could be a really fun TV show. I think it could be really, really fun.
Done right. So, yeah.
We'll see. Done right. Cast includes Sigourney Weaver, Jason Isaacs, and others. Of the most notable names in there. So, we'll see. We'll see what she's got. She's got to bring it. But I'm going to give her a chance. Let's see what she's got. So, all right. Well, that's Tomb Raider. All right, here we go. Here's a big one that we're going to get into this next one. I gather you may have some things to say because you were so excited to talk about it that you just brought it up impromptu, I think a few episodes ago. And I was just like, well, we're not there yet, but we're here now. The Cosmere.
Oh,
the Cosmere is making its way to film and TV, courtesy of Apple TV. Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere is going to be adapted, and as far as we know, a couple different ways. We'll get into that in a second. But the big thing is that Apple TV has closed the deal to the rights to all of the Cosmere books. Which is the fictional literary universe by fantasy author Brandon Sanderson. You've read many of his books, which include the Mistborn series, that includes the Stormlight Archive, and others, and many other things that he's done, which are all, not all, but mostly all part of this technically shared universe where, there's some sort of connection. And I mean, it's a pretty big deal because
it's huge.
I think Sanderson's one of the most popular fantasy authors out there, maybe next to Martin at this point,
Largest Kickstarter in history, I thought, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. He's a crazy motherfucker who just, when, COVID hit, was just like, well, I guess the only thing to do was just to write even more. And so he did wrote 4 novels in secret, did a big Kickstarter. I have really, really lovely versions of those on my book wall. He's a really, really incredible guy in the sense that his work ethic is unparalleled. I mean, he's making, YA books. He's writing, crazy long adult novels with Stormlight and Mistborn. And they're all, have these unique magic systems, and, just the world building is all very impressive. The character development's all very impressive. I haven't read all of it. I've only read a couple of the Stormlight books, and I've really, really enjoyed them. But it's a big deal. He's sold a lot of books. He's very, very popular. And, it's kind of been a long time coming for, hey, when's this stuff going to get the Game of Thrones treatment? When's this going to get the Wheel of Time treatment? Or maybe don't do that way. I don't know, depending on how you feel about that show. But, when is it going to happen? And the answer is pretty fucking soon.
Dude, so incredible. Is it going to start with Mistborn?
So it sounds like they are developing 2 projects side by side now.
Oh, Jesus.
Mistborn is being developed as a feature film, I assume, presumably just to the first Mistborn book
Okay.
being turned into a feature film, and they are developing the Stormlight Archive into a long-form television series is kind of the
That's
approach
fair.
that they're
I guess
taking.
it's all right.
So how does that make you feel? How does all of this make you feel?
I think what makes Sanderson so approachable, it's hard to say he's approachable when he writes a 1,600-page book or whatever, right? The books are fucking enormous.
Sure.
But for somebody like me, I'll listen to a lot of the stuff. I usually with the Stormlight Archive books, when something gets really, really, really like, I don't know who coined it. I don't think I coined it. I think probably Steven coined it. Somebody coined it. It's like we call it a Sander Lanch, where the last 15 chapters of the book, just are relentless, right? And everything kind of culminates in a massive, massive conclusion. It's awesome. It's so cool. And usually when I start approaching that, I turn to the book because I can read it. I can process it faster than what it gets delivered in an audiobook.
Listening. Yeah.
So usually that's how I finish up all the Stormlight Archive books. I've done, I think, 4 of the Mistborn books, and the trilogy, the trilogy for like the first era of Mistborn is top notch stuff. It's very, very, very good. I didn't care for what I read in the second one, the Wax and Wane, I think trilogy is what it's called, but to kind of boil it down, I think that what makes his stuff so approachable, the action sequences and just the way, almost like when you read Martin, I feel like Martin is he's incredibly descriptive about food.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. Like that's a way to write things. And I think that's interesting, right? It's like a real tactile way. He describes things in a very tactile way, right? Where I think that Sanderson writes things in a cinematic way. Like I can visualize what's happening very, very, very clearly. And it's almost like a what's the word? It's like when they do storyboards for movies and stuff. I feel like you can pull what's on the page into a storyboard very easily. Like it's very easy to interpret what he's trying to convey and the scene that he's trying to set up. And so for me, as somebody that really enjoys movies and films and stuff, I think it makes it very approachable and it makes it easy to digest because I can easily place myself, behind the camera of each of the scenes in the book. And I think that, and I think that he's a person that's going to be very passionate about how these things are delivered. He strikes me as that person. Just from my, kind of limited viewing of the way he's involved in the board game stuff and the way that he's involved in his store and his books and this and that. I think that these things are going to be made with care and a lot of supervision, and I think that we're going to get something very good. I think that these movies and these shows will, and not that Apple TV hasn't been put on a pedestal with things like Ted Lasso and the networks, right? Severance, right? I mean, they're
the studio.
They're
TV wise, they've been doing.
They're in the
quite well
conversation, right? But I think putting them,
they don't have anything like this, though.
They don't have anything like this, and I think this property is going to put them front and center, competing with people like Netflix, competing with people like WB, and I think that this is going to be
HBO, Game of Thrones. This could potentially,
they have a lot of
mass market appeal.
There's a lot of fans. There's a lot of people that are going to be interested to see what happens with this. So I think that this is going to be this is going to catapult Apple in a big, big, big way. So good opportunity, good properties, good creatives, and I think that this is going to be. I think it's going to really deliver in a huge way. Very, 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 very excited. So we'll see what we get.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I think the split. It seems I again haven't read Mistborn, but just from what I have read and understand, it seems like that's something that could translate better to a movie. Obviously it has to be streamlined and definitely a pretty massive way. But there's no way you do even The Way of Kings and like maybe 3 movies, maybe a trilogy. But I think a TV show, like a 10 episode, 8 episode sort of deal, I think you could pull that off. You need a lot of money. You need, obviously a lot of things to go right. But I think that's the sort of storytelling, mechanism that makes the most sense.
There is a lot
for
you couldn't
the breadth
condense it.
of that story. Well, something that's really interesting too is I think the reason that he agreed to basically sign the rights over to Apple TV is he's maintaining a lot of control. He being Sanderson here. He will be, as the Hollywood Reporter puts it, the architect of the universe. He's going to write, produce, consult, and have approval over everything, basically. So he's going to be in charge. I mean, it's all going to kind of go back to him. He's announced he's writing the screenplay for the Mistborn movie as maybe literally as we speak, but very much as we speak in a figurative way as well. So it's going to be his baby, which is, I think, really interesting to see. A lot of times you see stuff get taken away from the creator, and not always and it doesn't always end up in something worse, but you maybe lose some of the spark of what made it so special in the first place when it's being turned into, a different form. So it'll be interesting to see, with him so hands-on with this, how things will turn out. And another thing that gives me confidence is, like, I don't think Apple TV is gonna not enough people watch the first season. I guess we better cancel it. Like, I think they're gonna be pretty fucking invested. It's gonna be a lot of money I'm sure they're gonna have to put into these things, because that's the only way to do it, I think, really right. But I do think that it has a lot of potential to again reach a pretty big audience, and I do think that even if it's not as successful as they certainly would like it to be at first pass, they're not going to just say fuck it and be done with it, right away. So, whereas a Netflix would definitely cancel it.
Do we have
season
dates?
If they could.
Do we have dates on the first release or anything?
It's a long way away. I would say we're probably minimum 2 years away from anything happening. Probably more likely 3 to 4 years away. Between writing, casting,
so
production, post-production.
Who plays Kaladin? Do we know?
We don't know anything.
Chalamet playing Kaladin.
I don't know. It could be Timmy. Well, it could be Timmy. It'll probably be someone we know nothing about right now.
Who plays Sazed?
Who themselves.
Have you read Mistborn?
I haven't read Mistborn, no, so I don't really know any of the Mistborn characters.
Get on. It's so good.
Yeah,
all the shit is so incredibly good.
My goal this year is to go into Oathbringer, which is where I'm at in Stormlight. I know I've got the Mistborn books up on the shelf too. So
Oathbringer is probably my favorite. That one's really good.
Yeah,
the first one, the Way of Kings, is awesome too. But Oathbringer,
I love both Way of Kings and Words of Radiance. I'm excited to go back. It's just a big investment of time.
It is. But you do a lot of walking and a lot of riding and stuff, dude. You could easily get swept up in the audiobook. Way easy.
I could. I don't know. I like reading. I like the act of cracking the book open too much, Too.
Yeah, okay. Well, they're performative too. They're very performative. They're very good.
Well, I'll see them performed in a few years on Apple TV. All right. Similar sort of fantasy deal over on HBO. Baldur's Gate. We're getting a series.
I cannot do that here.
I cannot do that here. I can do that here on HBO. Because I am Craig Mazin, co-creator of arguably the most acclaimed TV adaptation of a video game to date, HBO's The Last of Us. So I can do that. Holy shit!
For real? He can do it.
That's right.
Damn.
He can do Baldur's Gate as well. and it's actually I think it's intended to be specifically a continuation after Baldur's Gate 3 specifically, like just straight up continuing the events of that game, which that's kind of interesting. People love that game. I can't remember if you played it at all. Okay. Yeah, it came out a few years ago, 2023.
Wait. This is the one. This is the big one. This is the big one.
This is the big one. This is the newer one that Larian did.
I played through the first act. Incredible game.
Okay.
But Bennett got older, and I could not play it while he sat around on the couch anymore.
Yeah. Well, if you finish the other acts, then you'll be well positioned to watch this series when it comes out, because it's I don't know, I think usually you get adaptations of things, when you bring it to TV or film, you don't usually get the continuations of it. So it's kind of interesting to see that as sort of the idea of how they want to handle it. But I guess if the game does it well enough and it would be impossible to adapt without doing it in 20 seasons, maybe this is the way to take it potentially. But yeah, Craig Mazin, so it's the Last of Us guy. That's one half of the Last of Us guys that's working on this adaptation. So yeah, sounds like maybe you could be interested in something like this if you like Baldur's Gate 3 anyway. Yeah,
no, I like that. Yeah, I'll definitely be on top of this for sure.
I would like to play Baldur's Gate 3. There's a lot of things I'd like to do though. So, yeah,
especially
I don't know.
If you didn't have to work, you could do all the things that you ever wanted to do.
Yeah, no. I mean, I probably still wouldn't be able to, but I would be able to do a lot more. That's for damn sure. And if the money just grew on trees and, or just magically sprouted in the bank account, it would be so good, man. It'd be so good. Sounds intriguing. I'd like to, he says he spent 1,000 hours in Baldur's Gate 3, so I guess he's a pretty big fucking fan. So, hey, I mean,
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be inspired to make some good shit.
Yeah. And I think obviously this is not expected to, conflict with his duties in making season 3 of The Last of Us as well. I think he's developing this while he's developing that. So I'm sure The Last of Us will be a little bit closer in time in terms of release. So there you go. All right. We have just a few more pieces of news, and we do have some previews, not a ton since we obviously did most of those in our 2026 episode. But we got our first look at the Beatles. The Beatles we've got a first look at the Beatles, a full film cinematic event, which is hitting theaters in April of 2028.
I don't know what that accent. Who was that accent?
Well, it's trying to be one of the Beatles anyway. I don't know how good it was, but
what are the Beatles?
The Beatles. We have our first proper look. We knew about the casting. We talked about the casting. We talked about the damn thing itself of holy shit, they're making 4 fucking Beatles movies for some reason, and they were coming out a week apart from each other in April of 2028. Who thinks this is a good idea?
Not me.
Right. Yeah, Sony. Of course, it's Sony. Yes, of course. This all checks
Sony.
Out.
Yeah. How are they not out of fucking money? We're talking about Paramount not making any money. How does Sony have any fucking money?
Well, they're not trying to buy anyone, so they clearly don't have that much money, but they're probably being kept afloat by their TV and video games businesses, I would guess. We have our first look at Paul Mescal as Paul McCartney, Harris Dickinson as John Lennon, Joseph Quinn as George Harrison, and Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr. So why don't you take a look at these 4 photographs and tell me what you think about these Beatles?
I'm not gonna watch this.
Which one? Are you going to watch 1, but not the other 3? 2, but not the other 2? 3, but not the last one? Huh? What are you going to do? Who are you skipping? Like, if you got to pick one Beatle movie to focus on, which Beatle are you going to see the movie of?
I feel like I would just, God dang, dude.
You want to go see the Ringo movie? Skip the others?
Yeah, I think that's exactly.
It'd be really interesting to see. Will it be a natural trajectory of the first one that comes out makes the most money, and then the second one makes less, then it peters out because it's like, Jesus Christ, 4 of these fucking things? I did not sign up for this. Or will the John Lennon one and the Paul McCartnney ones?
Those are the 2,
will they
right?
do better?
Those are the 2.
Those are probably the big 2. I would think if you're gonna, I feel like, I mean, obviously, Paul and Ringo are still alive and kicking as of recording. Knock on wood. So I think that's sort of interesting. But I don't know. I mean, I think Paul and John, I think, are
and Paul,
the bigger names in Beatles. Had success, obviously, went within and outside of the Beatles as well.
Paul's a pretty damn good actor. Probably
Paul is playing Paul. When someone says Paul, his head is gonna turn so fast you're gonna think that man is actually named Paul.
Naturally, right?
Yeah, not even acting.
What's Paul McCartney's guys? What movies he been in? Harrison Dixon.
For
John Lennon. Sorry, Harrison. Dixon.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Harris Dickinson.
I messed his name up even as I read it.
Harrison Dixon. Harrison Dick man. Dick boy. Dr. Dickby. He was in Baby Girl in 2024 with Nicole Kidman. I don't know if you saw that one. Remember that one? The Iron Claw 23. It's the one with all the wrestlers and bad things happen in that family. Triangle of Sadness he was in.
What did he do in Triangle of Sadness? What did he do in that one?
I think he was the main guy. He was the main character in Triangle of Sadness.
That was a good movie. I did like that movie quite a bit.
That was really good. That was a very good movie. Yeah. Very good. That's pretty much all I reckon. He was in The King's Man, Conrad Oxford, and The King's Man, which was the prequel.
I feel like John Lennon's a good one. John Lennon could be a really good a good movie, I feel like.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't give a fuck about Ringo Starr, Barry Cohenberg's guy. No offense, Barry. Cohen.
Okay.
What the fuck's his name? Kyogen. Sorry.
Kyogen. Yeah.
Kyogen. I'm sorry.
All right. So you're out on Ringo. What about George? George is a good guitarist. You know, he's got some talent. I feel like underappreciated, but
I tell you how I feel like his picture here is quite aggressive. In the Hollywood Reporter thing that I'm looking at here, the reveal picture. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I think physically, transformation wise, the Paul McCartney one is the one that was just like, oh, this is scary looking.
I had to look up who he was.
Yeah, you can't tell I've seen some set pics and you can clearly tell it's Paul Mescal, but here it's pretty uncanny in a good way, not in a like this is fucked looking way. The other ones look like, the actors in makeup, you know what I mean? Or, let's stick a big honker on Barry Keoghan to make him look more like Ringo, it's, you can see the actors there. But the Paul McCartney one is definitely the one where I'm just like, whoa, okay. They're going for it.
Joseph Quinn was, that's the Human Torch, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that. That's evident. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm here for these movies. I probably won't watch them.
Yeah. I think we've been pretty consistent on that. I am intrigued, but will I watch 4 fucking Beatles movies in theaters? That's a hard sell. That's a hard fucking sell.
Maybe it's a bonus episode. We just grind.
Even if I wasn't working, even if I was in this mythical money grows on trees and sprouts in my bank account and I don't have to work, am I still seeing 4 Beatles movies in theaters? I don't know, dude. I don't know about that one.
I'm not.
I know you're not. I don't even have to ask you, but I don't know, man. But I am intrigued. I'm absolutely fascinated.
Would we see it? Would we have seen it in the early days of the podcast when we sold everything?
Oh man, yeah, maybe when we were single.
Maybe, yeah, probably,
maybe,
yeah.
Or we would have watched 2 and be like, "Oh man, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm not going back."
We're doing part 1 and part 2, and then we'll Studio Ghibli bonus episode this shit and never finish them. No, we should do that. We should finish the Studio Ghibli bonus episodes.
Yeah, we should. Well, I mean, and I'm reading this, and Sam Mendes is doing it.
Yeah, that's not. He's a good director, man.
It's a good paycheck too, I'm sure. So
I'm sure it's a good paycheck. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of paychecks,
yeah, keep going, please.
Speaking of paychecks, Kristen Bell says, "I love money. I am happy to take money to voice the character of Amy Rose.
Fuck yeah,
Sonic
I'm
the
here for
Hedgehog
that.
4. I think that's pretty cool. I'm not mad about it.
I like Kristen Bell.
I did not watch. I did too. You've seen her a lot in the Netflix show that I'm forgetting the name of recently.
Don't talk to me or Nobody Wants This. I think it's Nobody Wants This.
Nobody wants this. Nobody wants this. Don't talk. Talk to the hand. No. It seems good. You know, it's continuing the tradition of big names joining the voice cast. Got Idris Elba as Knuckles, Keanu Reeves as Shadow. I never watched the third one, but it was probably fun. Like the others, you know. I feel like I liked 2 more than 1 because it felt like it was more confident and, you know, not trying to unfuck the ugly Sonic shit. You know what I mean? Like Sonic 3 looked
I'm
fun,
still
looked
convinced
cool, it had
that's a
Shadow and stuff.
conspiracy. That's a conspiracy. They had that shit drawn out perfect.
Well,
before.
it worked. It worked if that was... I mean, Jim Carrey probably coming back, although will it be fake Jim Carrey? You know, I don't know if you've been following that. That little conspiracy. The Jim Carrey clone or guy in makeup, unclear. Who's to say? Anyway, yeah, I'm down. Cool. Give me some Amy Rose and Sonic, and I should watch the third one. I think I will probably not go back and watch the Knuckles TV show. I don't know if I have time for that. But
yeah,
I
I'm
could
not
watch
watching
Sonic
that. But
3.
I'll watch the shows or the movies. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll watch the movies.
Yeah, the movies are fun. They're short enough. They're entertaining enough. So, and probably at a certain point, good fodder for your children to watch. You know, so,
That's right. Yeah.
March 19th, 2027, Sonic 4 will be heading to cinemas. All right, Venom.
Stop.
Venom.
Are we really talking about Venom?
Venom's back, baby. We're getting another Venom movie. But it will be a little bit different than the other Venom movies that you've had, all of which were cinematic masterpieces, and I will hear no arguments to the contrary. We're going to get an animated movie based on the character of Venom. From the directors of Final Destination Bloodlines, with Amy Pascal, Avi Arad, and Matt Tolmach, who all worked on the Venom movies to produce. Tom Hardy also involved in some capacity as a producer, at least.
Eddie Brock.
Unclear what this is. Eddie Boy, yeah, I'm a producer now. I produce the Venom animated movies now.
What's going on? What's going on, dude?
What's going on?
Tom.
I don't have enough information to tell you what's going on. But what I can tell you is it will be an animated Venom movie. I don't know if it's a Venom 4, but animation is maybe cheaper than doing it for live action. Probably not, actually. Or if it's a like Spider-Verse adjacent sort of Venom deal. I don't know. This could be any number of things. The fact that it involves so many people involved with Venom to me suggests that it might be connected to the Tom Hardy Venom movies, but I guess not necessarily.
Hope not.
If that were the case, then it might have been announced that way, you know? So, who fucking knows? The only Venom movie I really want is Venom in a Spider-Man movie. And yet, I mean, we have one of those. I know we have had one of those. I haven't forgotten
That was pretty
about
sick,
Spider-Man
too.
3.
That was a good one.
It's fucking sick nasty, dude. Topher Grace, he's the man. He had a more convincing accent for Eddie Brock, which was just to speak like a normal fucking person. So there is that. But I don't know. Just you know, they sort of given us a little symbiote stuff with No Way Home and the setup. Like, give me Black Suit Spider-Man. Give me like a proper Venom in a Spider-Man movie. If this is like Spider-Verse-y sort of thing, like maybe that could be fine. That could be cool. You know, those movies take like 8 years to make each. So we'll see this in 2074 or whatever. But like, I don't know if this is tethered to all the other Venom crap, then like, I'm good. I'm good, man. I didn't see the last one, but I did see the other two, and they were as bad as you think they are. So I guess we did cover the first one. I think you spared yourself from watching the second one. I watched it on a plane and regretted it. So,
I was talking about
good.
these movies at
I'm
work
good.
today. Actually, the Venom movies.
Yeah. Shining examples of cinema. Well,
Cinema.
maybe cinema.
Real Nick Cage.
Maybe what you're looking for if not a Venom animated movie, maybe it's a God of War fucking live action series coming to Prime Video. Maybe that's what you're looking for in your life. And if you are looking for that in your life, you're going to be getting it. You are going to be getting it, and we have a lot of casting news that has broken over the past few months. In fact, most recently, Amazon has given us a first look at the live-action Kratos and Atreus, because this is adapting the Norse mythology side of the God of War games, the more recent ones. So that's kind of where this story is. So cast includes Ryan Hurst as Kratos, Callum Vinson as Atreus. Other recognizable names include Mandy Patinkin as Odin, Ed Skrein as Balder, and some others. Kind of all these roles are being filled. But yeah, most importantly, let's talk about this first look here. How do you feel about that?
So I've been pumped up about the cast. See this
I have been too. I think it all sounds pretty cool. I'm like stoked and like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't play that game because I wanted to go finish the fucking Greek ones and then jump into the Norse one. But like, I like God of War. God of War is cool. Kratos is a badass. He's a mean motherfucker. And then they put this picture out there, and it's just like, is this AI? What is this?
Didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here in this picture.
This is bad cosplay. What's going on here? Like, I don't know.
This is not the one I would release. We need to do a reshoot, please.
Yeah. And I don't know. Like, is this a costume test? Is that what this is? Or like I don't know. But like, just Kratos' posture alone in this is just like, that's not the God of War. You know what I mean? Or the guy that fucking kills the God of War to become the God of War. Like, no, no. That's just fucking. That's just some fucking doof, with his hands on his knees. Looks like he's out of breath.
Just his posture alone, his facial expression in his posture.
Yeah, this dude looks like stunned and he's out of breath, and it's just.
And Trace ain't gonna hit shit. Look at him. Oh man.
This is like, but why? And I have to say, this is absolutely so bad that I want to put it in the episode art for this fucking episode, because it's just stunningly bad.
It's not good.
So it's not good. Like, all right, he's got the white makeup and the red stuff, and like he's dressed up like Kratos, but like.
You don't look like
something's
Kratos.
Off here, man. Something's off here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even think the casting's bad necessarily, but what the fuck is this? Like, I don't know. I know I've seen some people think like, well, remember when they put out that first Henry Cavill Witcher, makeup hair test, and it kind of looked like shit, and then it looked better, once the series came out. I mean, it was still obviously a wig and stuff, like, of course it was. But like, it was fine. You didn't really think about it when you were watching the show.
Why would
Hopefully
this be the first
something that's happening here? But like this is your first impression. Like, what are you doing? Who thought this was a good idea? I think that's the crazy thing, is someone high up enough said, "That's it. That's the look." This guy's about to keel over because he's
gives to the public.
That's really what's the most bizarre thing, is just like, this is what they've chosen. Someone made a choice and landed on this. Even if the choice was literally, hey, should we release this picture to the public? Yes or no. They still ended up with yes as their answer, and that's problematic. That's certainly concerning. It does not bode well.
Who makes these decisions? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a marketing team. I don't know if it's the creatives on this show. I really don't know who's calling the shots here, but they called the wrong one, I would say.
By a significant margin. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
man.
Bad.
Okay.
It's pretty bad. But I got one final piece of news for you. Hopefully it's better than that fucking picture of Kratos. Game of Thrones. It never ends, my friend. It never ends. We are getting a Game of Thrones movie from Warner Brothers. And Andor's Beau Willimon is boarding the project as a screenwriter. So he wrote a handful of episodes on Andor. I'm going to check which ones he actually wrote, because I think that will maybe look, all of Andor is great, so probably doesn't hurt. But specifically, he wrote the Narkina 5, the prison arc in season 1.
Okay.
He also wrote the Gorman arc in season 2.
Okay.
So I guess this guy's doing okay.
Good ones.
And he's writing this Game of Thrones movie, which will reportedly center on Aegon the First. So presumably it will be our, live action version of Aegon's Conquest, as he's coming and taking over Westeros. And establishing the Iron Throne and all that jazz, which could be pretty cool, right?
We're going way back. We're going back a ways.
We're going back away. We're going to the very first children, Targaryen,
right?
Yeah,
or the
exactly.
Children of the Forest, or whatever it is, something like that.
Something like that, sure. But yeah, going a way back. So hey, how do you feel about that? I know.
I've always
you're probably
said
a little bit on the outs with Game of Thrones now, but does this intrigue you if nothing else?
I've always thought that if we're gonna do anything else with Game of Thrones, I think the place to go, much like Star Wars, really, is somewhere different, right? So
yeah. Very, very, very different. Far away.
Yeah, far away. Go far away. So Children of the Forest, Valyria, I think. Any of those things, I think, is interesting. Interesting storytelling. You can make interesting stories based on that, because we don't have any sort of frame of reference for those things. So makes it fresh, makes it original, and while still being part of the part of that property. So
yeah, no, I agree. And big budget movie might be kind of fun to see a 2-hour version of this kind of thing, as opposed to the multi-season arc of these things. Could kind of be interesting, and the way that obviously we're going to be seeing that with Mistborn and Stormlight, to kind of see, that sort of different storytelling technique could be kind of interesting for something that we really haven't seen any sort of variance in. I mean, I guess in Night of the Seven Kingdoms might be sort of that, and still haven't watched it, so I can't really totally speak to it, but still. Movie versus TV is kind of a different side of things. So yeah, color me interested. We'll get more details, I'm sure, in the future. It's I'm sure a few years away. Got to write the thing. I don't know how much. I don't know how much written material there already is from George. I imagine there's probably a lot of gap filling and dialogue and all that stuff that will need to be done. Right. So it's but the pedigree is definitely there from those Andor episodes. So yeah, could be something. Could definitely be something. But we're fresh out of news, man. We're fresh out of them. We're fresh out of all those pieces of news. We had a lot, but we're fresh out of them. That was months and months of shit that we just covered, to be clear. This is more, I think, than usual. I did curtail some of the previews that we're going to get into just in a second because I knew how much news we had to get
a lot
into.
Of news.
I'm sure we spent a healthy amount, obviously, talking about the WB shenanigans too. But
it's a big deal.
But we can go on to some previews if you're ready.
Yeah, let's talk about some previews, dude. I love the preview section.
So first preview, and I will say these are in release orders, how I ordered these. First preview is for something we did talk about on our 2026 episode, but we didn't have a trailer for it, but we were certainly intrigued by the premise. Jury Duty presents Company Retreat. So season 2 of Jury Duty effectively, but they're not in the courtroom anymore. They're not in the courthouse. They are at a fake company retreat with one real guy. Not Ronald anymore. They found another guy. They found Anthony. And so we got the trailer for it so we can kind of see what it all looks like. And it definitely seems to be, in my eyes, recapturing the energy of Jury Duty and sort of what made that show so hysterical. But in a very different setting with a different guy. And this is coming out March 20th, if I didn't say that. So just a few weeks away, and I'm pretty fucking excited. Are you pretty fucking excited?
Yeah. This looks like it's going to be more of the same magic that we got from Jury Duty. Jury Duty was
somehow they may have gotten the lightning in a bottle twice. somehow. Maybe. It looks like they did it. It looks like they fucking pulled it off, which is crazy.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know how many times you can try to like spin it in such a way. Like this seems like a perfect opportunity, really creative. I mean, incredibly creative idea of putting like somebody in like a normal thing, like everybody has jury duty. Everybody applies for a job to go to work. Right? How many more times can you come up with like these simple ideas,
right? The scenarios, where it works and it makes sense, and it's not like it's simple enough that it kind of makes sense that someone could fall for it,
Yeah.
Even though everything is absurd, and I mean, there's the little snippet in this. Like, I feel like I'm on a TV show, but there's no way people have been making this up or whatever he says. And it's just like, oh my God, that's too perfect.
And I don't know how you capture the same magic that you got with the first dude. The first dude was just such an incredible dude, such incredible.
Yeah.
Dude.
Ronald, man. Ronald was, he was a good
man.
Dude. And just like, just perfect. This guy feels like he could be a really good Ronald follow-up,
Yeah. So
he feels just like a good dude, I'm sure they've got like that's got to be the toughest part of it. You can get actors to play these roles. I mean, I think it's probably I'm impressed by the commitments to the bit that like the actors how like especially I don't know, especially the jury duty one where it's just like I don't know how you're not breaking character left and right, This one, it feels like there's a little bit of room to be a little sillier and kind of eccentric and weird and out there, and like it's like fine, but yeah, having that, I don't know, casting that Ronald or the Ronald equivalent feels like that's got to be the toughest thing because he's got to be likable, he's got to be just like genuine and likable, and I like to think most people are genuine and likable, but a lot of people that aren't. So
aren't, right.
Like how do you screen and find the right guy? And I don't know, man. I think they've done it. I mean, if this trailer is any indication, this looks like a very worthy follow up.
It does. And now that I think about it, I think if you're in a position at a new job, I think it makes I feel like it makes it easier to try to find somebody that's willing to just go along with it because it's their new job. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. They don't know any better.
They don't know. They don't know any better. They don't know these people. They want the job, so they want to get paid, and they're I'll go along with it. It's fine. I'm sure everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the way that they try to capture the Ronald like character was real creative too. Whoever's in charge of making these things is doing a good job for sure.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
Nailing it. Absolutely nailing it.
110% here for this.
Here's our release calendar. 3 episodes March 20th, 2 on the 27th, and a 3-episode finale on April 3rd.
That's good.
So
nice and tight.
I plan on watching. I think we could cover. I think we could do it.
I think we
It'll
should.
Be really fun.
We owe it to ourselves too. Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah. I was late to the party on the first jury duty, so I'm not making the same mistake here. All right. Next couple of trailers we've got here are direct to streaming movies coming out in March that we did not talk about on our 2026 episode, and I will candidly say I did not know they existed, and they just dropped trailers in the past couple of weeks, and I don't know, maybe there's a reason they're coming to streaming. We'll get into it. But the first one is called Pretty Lethal. It's coming to Prime Video on March 25th. And it's like a ballerina plus Ready or Not sort of deal. 5 ballerinas are trapped in a house, and they gotta fight their way out of things, it seems like, and team up and all that jazz. It's Uma Thurman is like an evil lady or whatever, running the place that they're trapped in, I think. I'm gonna stop explaining and ask you, what did you think about Pretty Lethal? Are you pretty locked in on March 25th to stream this?
I don't
Prime
think
Video?
I don't think I am. I don't think I'll watch this one, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right.
Like we watched a similar trailer to a movie that's coming out where they lock the girl into a
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's like the high rise or whatever hotel. Yeah.
And that to me seemed more interesting than this one. I don't know. This one right here didn't capture the same kind of excitement that I got, except for the song. There was a song playing.
The song, okay.
Whoa, it's electric. Whoa, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. It looks like a streaming movie, which is not inherently a bad thing. There are K-pop demon hunters in this world, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's a reason it wasn't on our radar just a few weeks ago when we talked about all the 2026 stuff is probably a fair way of putting it too. I'll probably give it a miss, but if you check it out, you let me know.
Rhythm is a Dancer, that's a song, so.
Oh, yes. Okay, very good. Very good. Maybe it'll have a good soundtrack that carries it
Maybe.
through. I like that it was like from a producer of was it Bullet Train and something. It was just like, not the producers, just one guy. One guy said, I'm going to do other things now.
It's pretty.
Anyway, March 25th, Prime Video. Just a couple days later, March 27th on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus, we're getting Mike and Nick and Alice. I think I said that right. With Vince Vaughn and Itza Gonzalez and James Marsden and Vince Vaughn and time travel, weird things happening. It's a strange looking movie. I mean, interesting cast for sure, but I don't know. What do you think?
This one has the potential to be shit, or it could be pretty good. I could be okay. It could be pretty okay. I like James Marsden a whole lot, to be honest with you. And the guy that was in that second season of True Detective, I don't care to see him a whole lot.
Vince Vaughn, yes.
Yeah,
he's been in other things.
Yeah. I think this could be good, and it could be shit either way. So I'm curious enough to watch it. I'm curious enough to watch it.
Well, it's low stakes in the sense that you're probably already paying for Hulu and or Disney Plus, so like you're good. You've got access to it. So, but at the same time, are you going to feel differently after 2 hours of, God, I could have watched, I don't know, I could have watched something else, I could have rewatched Jury Duty starring James Marsden. I could have watched Jury Duty's very own James Marsden and something else instead of Mike and Nick and Alice, but...
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Could have watched that too. Maybe he makes a cameo in Knuckles, the TV show, and you could have watched that. Probably not. I don't know. I'm not sure about this one. I'll wait for reviews.
That's fair.
All right. Let's move on to our next trailer. We're outside of March, moving into April. April 3rd is an A24 flick called The Drama, starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, where, falling in love, and then maybe she spills a pretty big secret. We don't know what the secret is, but it seems to be impacting things. What do you think
it is?
I don't know. Like, she killed someone.
That's what I was thinking too, but surely not. That's
like
not
she drunk driving and killed someone. I don't know. Like, I don't know what. It's got to be something pretty fucking heinous, right? Not very innocuous, or it's just something very specific to him. I don't know. But no, they all kind of freak out. So it's got to be something pretty. I don't know. Is this the kind of movie, because it's A24, where we never find out, or will we find out at the end though? Like, is the whole thing like you never find out, but like it's not about that. It's about how everyone else responds to it, and that's the point.
I feel like you find out, but it's really fucked up.
It's got to be. I mean, I think that if you don't find out, then I don't know. It's one of those things. Yes, I don't need to know if the top is still spinning at the end of Inception, but like I know enough that I can I can make my own conclusions without more information than what is presented in this trailer. I mean, credit to the trailer. It's fucking intriguing, and I want to know more, and I am like wanting to see this movie to figure it out. But I don't know. I don't know what it could be. So I don't know, but I want to know. I gotta find out what it is. You know,
it was real funny when he dropped, like when they pull up, he pulls their pants down and then he raises his head up and he whacks from the bottom of the chin. I thought that was real funny. I really like Zendaya. I really like Robert Pattinson.
I like these leads. I like A24.
I like A24.
It seems
it's shot really well.
I don't know.
This movie's going to be shot really good. Right? I just hope that the thrust of this thing is something that would keep me really interested, you know?
Right. That's fair. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right. Very valid take on that, and I will concur. As I said, April 3rd for the drama playing in theaters. All right. Here we go. You've got a few that are things that we definitely talked about on our 2026 episode that we've got some updates on. A new official trailer for Lee Cronin's The Mummy heading to theaters April 17th. Very, very different, I'll say, overall. I mean, I think the first thing we got that we talked about was a teaser, was a straight up teaser. It didn't show us a lot. This shows us a lot more. Are you feeling, I know you were pretty stoked about this last we spoke. Are you feeling differently or are you...
Yeah, I feel like this thing took a turn. This looks like a... this may not be the Mummy movie that I was wanting.
It feels like Evil Dead, but not the Mummy, which is not inherently a bad thing. To me, it just kind of feels like, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't like I wanted really a Mummy feel movie. Like the Mummy.
Right. Exactly.
And like in the way that, this is Blumhouse. Blumhouse has done the reinventions of things. The Invisible Man still very much felt like a movie about the Invisible Man, even though it was a very different time and setting and technology and etc. And I didn't see Wolfman, so I can't speak to that. But at least there was a Wolfman in it, I guess. And I guess technically there is a mummy in this in a way, but it does just kind of feel like a possessed little girl sort of movie without it necessarily. I mean, it could very well just be possessed by an Egyptian spirit or God or something. I don't know.
And I was there for it until she says, "It's fun to be dead, Grandma," or whatever the fuck she says.
Well, that to me reads as Evil Dead. That's Deadite shit to me. Yeah. And again, that's not inherently bad, but it just doesn't feel
like Mummy.
It doesn't feel very
like
Mummy.
If she were to say anything, she needs to be saying it in some fucking Egyptian,
saying an ancient Egyptian or something like that. Yeah,
like, and that would be a little bit more acceptable.
I agree. I think that would be more interesting of this little girl's all fucked up because some shit happened, but it's not that she's...
And she needs to croak it out, like her voice is fucking that'd be some cool shit. I'd be there for that. That'd be okay.
Because I do feel like the concept of it is still, I think, pretty interesting. Of all the shit with this pyramids and why is she there and she's dead, but then
she's missing for 8 years. Yeah,
it's all actually it's an interesting setup and like a modern sort of twist on the Mummy, and I don't know, all in all, that sort of seems interesting. I kind of feel like if that's what this movie is, and then the visuals, I feel like kind of at that point. Again, just feel very Evil Dead coded to me. Not a bad thing, just doesn't really feel like...
Yeah, it's not what I wanted. It's not what it showed up
The Mummy.
Right.
You could... you just give this a different coat of paint and it's an Evil Dead movie. Which I'm happy to have more Evil Dead movies.
But I want to show up for an Evil Dead movie, or am I showing up for a Mummy movie?
Yeah, I feel like those should be distinct things and traditionally have been. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm still intrigued.
I'll watch it. I agree. I will watch it.
You know what I mean? I'm willing to give it a chance. I mean, it's definitely still, still definitely interesting. But it is definitely a little bit of a different flavor than it seems like we were getting from that first teaser. Definitely pretty distinct. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Right? Come April 17th. So got a little bit of time to wait. But I know that you are very, very excited for what's coming out on May 8th. Because it's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, big fan. Big fan.
Mortal Kombat 2, in fact. Been waiting for this for a long time.
Supposed to be on my birthday. Damn it.
Supposed to be a birthday present for you. We got that trailer probably a year ago because it was supposed to be in October. And they pushed this son of a bitch to May 8th, but we got a new trailer, new footage, new looks at lots of things. They're actually having a tournament this time around. We're getting Johnny Cage. Carl Urban's here as Johnny Cage. Looks like everyone's pretty much back from the first movie. So Kano, Liu Kang, Scorpion.
Baraka's a new one, I think, right?
I think Baraka's new. Shao Kahn is new. I think we're getting more Shang Tsung. Looks like Sub-Zero is coming back in the form of maybe Noob Saibot, from what it looks like. So
Noob Saibot was the smoke one, right? Or is that Smoke? Smoke's the smoke one.
Smoke's the smoke one. Noob's the ninja all in black that can clone himself and I think maybe teleport a little bit. It's got some Mortal Kombat staples in there for sure. And it looks pretty. I mean, it looks unabashedly Mortal Kombat, which I would say is a good thing.
It's perfect.
Don't shy away from it. Not much of the insert character.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm sure he's in this trailer somewhere, but I actually don't recall seeing him at any point.
Much like the actual Mortal Kombat movie we got. We don't really remember that guy.
Sir, I'm going to be in the first 5 minutes of this movie, and I'm cannon fodder at that point. I don't know.
It's fine.
That's fine. Johnny Cage is our main character, at least in terms of how this trailer presents
good
things.
Good move. Good
I'm
pivot,
very
Mortal
down
Kombat
for.
People. Yeah.
Probably should have done it that way in the first place, but, what are you going to do?
Did you ever watch the animated Luke Cage movie?
I haven't seen any of them. I haven't seen any of those animated ones. I've always wanted to get around to watching them. I think they're all on HBO Max, so no excuses. But other than
they're all easy watches. Next time you just
pretty short.
Yeah,
I think maybe I'll gear up for Mortal Kombat 2 by watching those. I'd like to say it'll gear up by playing some of the video games, but we'll see. We'll see if I have time for that jazz. I've played enough Mortal Kombat games. I get it. I've played the original Mortal Kombat 2, so I know what it's all about, man. So anyway, I'm excited for Mortal Kombat 2 on May 8th. Looking forward to it.
Mortal Kombat!
Exactly. Shogun reunion here too. Hiroyuki Sanada and Tadanobu Asano, Raiden, Scorpion and Raiden respectively, which is fucking cool. That's really fun.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty badass. All right, May 22nd, our second to last preview for the episode, The Mandalorian and Grogu official trailer.
We're going to start out with the first 2 seconds of this trailer.
Let's do that.
It's probably going to be I'm probably going to replace the U-Wing canvas on my wall with the picture of this. This is like straight up like what Apocalypse Now
couple
or
X-Wings that look like a Y-Wing with the sunset. Is that kind of what we're looking at?
Yeah.
3 X-Wings.
Fucking epic.
4 X-Wings.
Epic.
I didn't let the shot linger long enough, but yeah. That looks quite cool. How about the subsequent 2 minutes of this trailer? Is this working for you?
It doesn't not work for me. I don't see anything that's like, oh, holy shit.
Maybe more Mando, and that's kind of maybe good enough. But
yeah, maybe aside from like a muscular hut. I've never seen a muscular hut.
We're getting a muscular hut, yeah.
And that's kind of cool.
We're getting one of the bounty hunter guys. It looks like from Clone Wars. I forget the character's name.
Who's that guy?
It's not. It's I don't remember the character's name. Maybe I should have done my research before.
It's not Bane.
It's not Cad Bane, who we did see in Boba Fett, but it's Embo. That's who it is. Kyuzo bounty hunter Embo.
Embo?
Yeah. Well, I know popped up in Clone Wars.
How you spell Embo?
Maybe Rebels. EMBO. So we take a gander at that character in animated form. May may recall seeing that character pop up here and there.
Oh yeah, Imbo.
We got that, but as you said, a muscular Hutt. Lots of Grogu action. He's puppeting about. Zeb, we got Zeb dialogue and a couple looks at Zeb.
Yeah, he's like flying around in there. Yeah, it looks like, I don't know how awesome I don't know how spectacularly awesome it's gonna be. But I'll definitely go watch it. It looks, well, hopefully it's better than what it looks like. I mean, it looks like it's okay.
It looks like maybe it's going to be a long episode of The Mandalorian, which is not inherently a bad thing. It just doesn't seem like it has enough of a hook that to me suggests this should be on the big screen and on IMAX. And it's not even that it looks bad. Like visually, it's just like, what about this?
What's the thrust? What are we doing?
What about this demands a 2-hour movie and not a 2-hour theatrical release and not a drop on Disney Plus? What's the differentiating factor? Is it the budget? Because it doesn't look, it looks like The Mandalorian. You know what I mean? And it's kind of fun. Like, I feel like a lot of the designs feel very classic toy inspired, it doesn't look like, I'm sure there's a lot of CG going on, but it still feels like pretty practical in the way the designs are, and for Grogu himself too. So like, I don't know. I mean, all around, I kind of appreciate the production design, but again, what's the hook? Is it enough just to be The Mandalorian and Grogu?
Do we actually
on the big
find
screen?
Grogu's homeland?
Yeah, like maybe there's more that we're not seeing here. I don't know. I mean, I'm in. I'm going to watch it. I'm excited. I think this actually looked better than the first trailer that we got, I will say. I'm more excited after seeing this. I just don't know. I don't know what makes this big screen Mando versus small screen Mando. It kind of feels like there's no separation, which is maybe not a bad thing. Maybe it's a compliment to the small screen stuff, but I don't know. It feels like there's usually more of a incentive, if you're making that jump from TV to film. So anyway, all right, we've got a final trailer to talk about. House of the Dragon Season 3. Not a trailer, a teaser, an official teaser. You didn't watch Season 2, right?
No? So what's this do for you?
So I don't really need to talk to you much about this. Amanda was your last trailer, I guess, to really care about. It looks like House of the Dragon. It looks like Game of Thrones. I think Season 3 has a lot of stories that I think will be interesting, and I think some big battle stuff that should like Season 2 was missing that. Like, I mean, I've talked about this a lot, but it basically was missing the last 2 episodes of the season. So I think that's probably going to be the front end of this season, and there's probably going to be even more stuff in this season. So if this season is somehow worse than Season 2, then someone fucked up real bad somewhere. But I think that realistically, this is going to be the payoff that we didn't get from Season 2, that I didn't get because you didn't watch it.
Okay.
So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that it's good. I think they're on a 4-season arc, is what has been said about House of the Dragon, which sounds good. I mean, I watched it. I still want to watch A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Haven't watched it. It won't be in my catching up, I will say. Like Game of Thrones, like obviously I still feel the way I feel about how that show ended, but I still do love the world. Ultimately, I do think that there's stuff worth watching in it. We talked about the movie. I think the movie could be worth watching. I think that this is still worth watching. I just, Season 2 worried me, and it felt too close to those latter days of Game of Thrones where it was just like, I'm not seeing the vision, and I'm not sure that there ever was one, or if there was one, it was real shit. Let's put it that way. So, my hope is that Season 3 feels like a return to form for House of the Dragon. Like Season 1 somehow revitalized my interest in this franchise that I was like, I don't know about this one. So I'm hopeful. Maybe it's, too optimistic of me, but I am hopeful that Season 3 will be what gets House of the Dragon back, in good form, to the point where, for someone like yourself, if you're watching it, if you go into Season 2 and then you can jump right into Season 3, like you won't feel as frustrated by like the wait. Like, you'll be able to just see it right through without having to be like, oh, that's it for 3 years. So, yeah. Anyway.
Has it been 3 years from 2 to 3?
It's been at least 2. Probably 2 years, probably.
Oh, damn.
But it's been over a year, I think, and it's like...
I feel like I just watched that show.
Yeah, on your iPad or whatever.
Season 1. Yeah, I feel like I just watched it. It's interesting.
Let's fact check. Season 2 finished up in 2024. So, yeah, it'll be a full 2 years by the time this comes back around. And it's been 2 years gaps consistently, which is fine. And usually, and again, that would be fine if you end it in a satisfying way with a big bang. And then when you don't, then it's kind of, that makes that wait painful. So again, maybe not having to wait if you go from 1 to 2 to 3 and then maybe to 4 when it wraps up.
Should this be the last season?
I think one more after this. One more, and then that'll be that.
Okay.
So four seasons. I think adapting Fire and Blood, the fake history textbook written by George R.R. Martin, because he's not writing the Winds of Winter. Just to be clear, that's what we got on the previews front. So we are left with but one last section of this podcast, and that would be catching up. So I'm gonna let you talk. We did.
Oh,
it's only been a week. We did Wonder Man last week, but if you're like me, I've been holding on to a few things, saving them up for when we have a little bit more extended, episodes like these. Not that I have a ton. I will try to get through mine in a timely fashion. Don't worry, listeners. But yeah, what do you got? What do you got on your end?
Well, I can kind of slay mine. There's been I'll start with the magic stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think we've checked in on that in a little while.
Yeah, there's a little bit. I've constructed a deck. I don't know if I told you about this deck.
Told me about some decks.
Have I told you about my blue deck?
Blue deck. That sounds familiar. I mean, it's color. I know the color.
The Administration of Subjugation and Suppression.
I feel like it also sounds familiar, but
I probably told you.
If you asked me to explain what any of that means, then I don't think I could answer you that way.
I made this super nerdy deck. It's mono blue, so it's super control, and I called it the Administration of Subjugation and Suppression.
This came up on the Stranger Things episode because you finally found compatriots who understood what you were talking about. If I recall correctly.
That's my ass deck is what it is.
Yeah, okay, or your ass deck, sure.
And Eddie the Judge, who is Bruvac the Grandiloquent, is the commander here, and it's a mill deck. So have control the field and have everybody get rid of all of their cards. Is the goal of this deck.
Okay.
They have had 3 secret layer drops. One was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle drop, which I thought had some really cool art.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
It didn't add anything to this one. But I had I had Jace's Archivist.
Turtles and a half shell. Turtle power. Sorry, go ahead. Anyway.
Something like that, yeah. I did get a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle deck, or card, not deck. It's a couple cards from the secret layer drop. The last Rome is the one I bought. Anyways, so I bought some new cards. That's that. Trying to perfect that deck. I watched I finished a show. It's taken me entirely too long to finish it, and that's Task. I finished Task.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah.
And Task is I'm
gonna cut you off. Delco accent the rest of the way you talk about it.
Truly.
No, you don't have to do it.
Fantastic show. Shoo. I really enjoyed it. It's a they talk Delco.
They talk funny. They talk funny.
Different. And I'll tell you what, man, it resonated in a big way.
Yeah.
It deals with adoption, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am informally adopted. At one point I said I want to be formally adopted, but I haven't filed the paperwork and shit. But I'm informally adopted, and so parts of the daughter's relationship with the main guys.
Mr. Mark Ruffalo, the Buffalo.
Mr. Rock Ruffalo resonated with me in a big way. But also, Mark Ruffalo's character plays a priest that has gone away from the priesthood to be an FBI agent, and someone that's kind of struggled with his faith, and as someone that's grown up religious who has kind of stepped away from practicing religion, I think that a lot of that resonated with me in a big way too. So I think that this show really just, man, everything about it really resonated. I think that's the biggest takeaway, is it just resonated with me in a big way. And it's so incredibly well written, and it explores so many different things. And it is like a crime. It's a crime show. I could have done away with all the FBI shit, and it could have just been a drama. And I think that it would have been perfectly okay. Like, it's just an incredibly well written, acted, and just it feels incredibly authentic. And I really enjoyed the show. I think it didn't make my list at all because I never finished it.
When we did our exactly. You had I think a few episodes left to go.
110% would have if I would have done it. I actually so I finished it on Sunday night. So Monday morning is my earliest morning of the week. I have to wake up really early. Not really. I don't think it's incredibly early compared to a lot of people, but it's early for me.
I'm not a morning person, so I sympathize. Anything before 9 is early to me.
Yeah. I got to be at work at 8, and I got to drop all the kids off and stuff. And I stayed up until I think like 1:30, 2 o'clock, finishing the last 3 episodes of the show because they were just like. They were it was a Sandra Latch.
Couldn't stop
Sandra
yourself.
Latch, yeah. Couldn't stop. It
Yeah,
was just
right.
so good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I already lingered so long between like my like watching periods that I didn't want to leave it another 2 weeks before I caught the next episode, you know? So I just dedicated the time, I put the work in, and Monday turned out to be miserable. Probably maybe like 30% because of it. I don't know.
Yeah, but you could commiserate by thinking about Task and being like, that was a good show, man.
I could. I really think that if you haven't seen it, I think you should watch it. It's a I think it's a poignant show. I think it's a powerful watch. I think it's very good. Deals with redemption and faith and like just I don't know, just deals with a lot of really just like a real sensitive topics that really identified with me. So real good watch. I also watched Badlands, Predator Badlands. I finished that up last night.
You went in. All right. How did you feel about it?
I thought it was better than what I thought it was going to be.
Okay. Yeah.
It wasn't anything like. Well, it wasn't like Task-like.
No,
you know
it's not going to change your top
Task.
movies of last year. But I had a pretty good time with it.
I tell you what, though, it wasn't Prey. I'd put it below Prey.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. I've agreed with everything you've said so
far. But I think it's a pretty damn good Predator movie.
It's pretty sure. It's pretty cool, and it is different. I think too. It is. It's incredibly different. Like you have. Like I don't know. It's just it puts there's no humans really. Predator protagonist, and then the supporting character is
right.
Is Elle Fanning as an android, and I don't know. I mean, it's
and she was great. I thought she was awesome.
She was great. Yeah, I concur. I mean. And I don't know, like it's violent, but and it's kind of fun and a little silly at some point. You get the little creature that they team up with, who I thought was silly but like endearing. Like the monkey looking thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a lot of fun. It was like one of those movies last year.
It was a lot of fun.
It's not groundbreaking. I mean, it's maybe sort of groundbreaking for the franchise, in that it's just not what if a bunch of people fought a predator and then one survived and killed it at the end? Like, it's not that, which was refreshing in some ways. But it wasn't obviously like this is the best movie of the year or anything like that. But
not trying to be though either.
Good popcorn movie. I think I gave it F1 over Badlands, but it was in the conversation for me of just being like, this is like I had a great time watching.
It deserves to be, yeah. Fun movie. I enjoyed watching it. I've also watched. I'm also up to date on. Fuck is it? ER? I'm kind of fucking
The Pit.
Massive brain fart. The Pit.
You're not up to date on the ER. I can assure you, because you would have given up long ago.
No, I'm caught up on The Pit. Excellent show. Can't recommend it enough. I think it's one of the best shows on television. There's a debate to be had on Task. Task was very, very, very good, but
both would have made your top 5 last year with your
easily hands
newfound
down,
knowledge
definitely.
At Task, at least, or still came out. So number one's probably locked up pretty tight, but
definitely still Andor. But I think it could have probably been. I don't know. I mean, one resonated with me in a big way, whereas the Pit, the Pit is just a relentless show to watch. I think it's made.
Okay.
I think it's. I don't know. It's just a different kind of show. So, anyways, I'll just put a plug in it. That's really all I've been up to. I've been raising my kids. We went to
that's important.
We went to a farm.
Yeah,
and picked
some
strawberries during
on the
strawberry.
social media.
Yeah,
of that.
Yeah, we did that. I've been so the front room. The front room.
The room
is. I tried to turn it into a record room, and I got some new furniture, and I'm proud of it.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's coming together in a big way. I think I'm trying to turn it into Canadian Day. Anyways,
there's some crossover. Yeah, I don't know what it's all about anyway.
Anyways, the front room, I'm really, it's coming together, and it's a lot of fun to kind of like get back at doing the stuff again. We haven't played around with the house in a long time. Since the babies and stuff.
Right,
but
sure.
We've got rid of the old couch that I've had since, it was in the Stagecoach house. The little couch that was in there in the front. I've had it since Stagecoach. Long time. And put a couple chairs in there, a couple recliners. It's now I was going to call it the lounge, but it's less of a lounge because there's like a fake tree in there and some other things. But I try to make it the analog room.
Okay.
No cell
Switch
phone
off.
kind of
Switch
space. Off. Listen to some records. There's some pictures of some scenery and stuff, and just an analog room,
Okay, nice. I like that. Sounds cool.
So,
vibey.
That's what we're. Vibey. Yeah, have a glass of wine. Maybe not smoke a don't
I've smoke a cigar indoors.
But I guess it's
if you
frowned
could,
upon. I don't know
if that was allowed. That's where you would do it. It would be the designated cigar smoking zone.
Exactly. So we're trying to build that space up. I got a record holder, and I got to change out what's holding the record player and the speakers and stuff. But it's almost done.
Nice, very nice.
Good new carpet for that area. But it's kind of the project that we've been diving into at the house. We got some new stools for the kitchen. Stained them. I didn't stain them. Sarah pretty much stained them. And I think that's pretty much about it.
All right.
So I'll put a plug in it. So what have you been up to, dude?
Right. Well, actually, I mean, a handful of things and kind of a variety of things that I'll talk about. The first thing I'll say is brew number 3 is the Cloudy Judgment Hazy IPA from the Bald Birds Brewing Company in Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Pretty good. My last one.
Jersey Shore, huh?
That's right. Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania. Make it make sense. On the movie front, I did talk about 28 years later, The Bone Temple. I kind of think I said everything I needed to say when we talked about 3 maybe happening. Again, I would recommend that you watch it, and we can come back and chat about it sometime down the line. I said as much when we did our 2026 episode. I did watch Send Help, which is the Sam Raimi movie with Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. I really enjoyed it. It's pretty unhinged.
Unhinged.
It's a Sam Raimi movie, I think, in the best way. It surprised me how much it felt like a Sam Raimi movie, because I didn't really get that sense from the trailer that it felt more like a Gun for Hire kind of movie.
Okay.
But it had his fingerprints all over it, and definitely in a good way. Yeah, I would recommend it. Good fun dynamic back and forth between Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien.
They're like stuck on an island, right? They're stuck on an island, exactly. They don't really like each other. Well, she likes him more than he likes her, at least. Let's put it that way. And it goes places. It's pretty all over the map. It's fun. It's a very fun watch, I would say. It's pretty bloody. Complicated in the sense that like neither character is a perfect or maybe arguably good human being, and that's kind of the fun of it. Is imperfect protagonists. Not what you got from the trailer, though. Human decisions. No, I think that the trailer kind of. I think the trailer kind of undersold it. Like I thought it looked fun and interesting, but I think the trailer didn't really sell it on the Sam Raimi of it all to me, and so I was pleasantly surprised by that. I would recommend it. It's probably going to be on VOD relatively soon. Not sure. I think that might have been Sony as well, so probably a future Netflix one, if that's correct. I'll just quickly fact check to confirm. No, it was 20th Century, so it'll probably be on Hulu/Disney Plus in a couple months, but probably still VOD relatively soon. Yeah, same thing. Talk about it and check back in. Talk about it a little bit more. But would recommend. I think you'd get something out of it for sure. On the TV side of things, I did catch the 2026 special episode of The Muppet Show, and to bring everything full circle, it's the one that had Sabrina Carpenter. Yes, for anyone that remembers me referencing Espresso almost too many hours ago. We won't say how many. It was really, really fun. Streaming on Disney Plus. It's like a half hour. It's also got Seth Rogen and Maya Rudolph. It's classic Muppet stuff. I actually watched this down in Florida with my parents, and I think they got a kick out of it too, because it really did feel like the classic Muppet show that they probably would have watched growing up, or at least seen, parts of, I would think. So, yeah, and Sabrina Carpenter has a big part in it. She's great. She's got some great stuff with Miss Piggy. Carpenter, okay. Rizzo's in it. Rizzo's my boy. Rizzo's my favorite. Gonzo's in it. Kermit the Frog is in it, and there's some good Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker stuff. Bobo's in it. I think Bobo was in it for like a minute. Or like Bobo the bear. I talk to like I fucking love the Muppets anyway. Would recommend it. It's on Disney Plus. It's a lot of fun. It's short and sweet. I hope they make more of it. I would definitely be down to watch more of it. So would recommend it. Funnily enough, another thing that I didn't really plan for, but kind of was inspired by what we talked about on the Look Ahead episode, was I just started watching Scrubs. I didn't watch the new stuff, which I've heard the new revival is actually quite good. And I'm sure, as we talked about, it's like, if you didn't watch the original, you're not going to care about the revival. And that's totally fine. And that's kind of, the point. But, we were just, browsing, looking for things to watch on Disney Plus, and Scrubs popped up, and I was like, oh, that might be fun to just throw on. And I'm like, I think I've watched the first 7 or 8 episodes of the first season. There's like 100+ episodes in the show entirely, but it's going to be my good background noise show, I think, other than ER, like my background show, not something that Anna's watching with me, but folding laundry show, doing sorts of things. It's going to fill that role for me. So I'll slowly make my way through it, and then maybe eventually I'll
be ready to watch the revival and stuff like that. I'm not going to binge it super or anything like that, but it's fun. And those early episodes are quite fun and funny. Cast is fun. And it definitely, so far at least, holds up in the early days of Scrubs. And I think it started in 2001. So like, fuck, that show's old. It's crazy.
It's an old
crazy
one.
me to think about. One other thing that I will say, I in the sense of we're doing the mythological trivia at the top of the episodes, I'm kind of feeling the inspiration of trying to do a lot of Greek mythology type shit.
Okay.
So I mentioned last episode that I started Hades 2. I bought it so I could play it on the plane down to Florida and back, and I've been sinking a good amount of hours into it and the time since, and it's great. You played the first one, right, May?
Yeah, I didn't beat it or anything, but I am familiar with it. I've played it enough to... Yeah, I know.
It's the same gameplay loop. The biggest difference being the first game, you played a son of Hades. You were trying to break out of the underworld and reach the surface. This one's a little bit different. You're a daughter of Hades. It's been some time. Things have happened in the underworld, and so you're trying to break back in and defeat some titans. But it's interesting because there's a different path, too, where you can go to the surface and fight on Mount Olympus. So you've got kind of these two different ways that you can go, that like the Olympus side is a bit harder, a bit more challenging, and there's different bosses and gods and stuff that you'll encounter there. And I think ultimately it's like the first game you had to beat Hades like 10 times to actually get the true ending. I think this is some variant of that where you still have to beat each side however many times to get everything that you need to like fully unlock what you need for the true ending. So I am nowhere close to doing that. I've cleared the underworld side once, defeated Kronos, the Titan of Time, and on the Olympus side, I have not made my way all the way to the top. Which I don't know. I fought Prometheus and lost.
The twice. Giver of fire, right?
The Giver of fire to man, yeah. So it's really good. I mean, it's pretty much the same game, but prettier with some different stuff. And if you like the first game and you didn't get sick of it, then like the second game was perfect, and it had been a few years, and so it's perfect for me. So very much recommend Hades 2, and I will continue to pour probably stupid amounts of hours into it. Also on the Greek side of things, I have been trying to finish up with the Percy Jackson books because they obviously are very intertwined with Greek mythology. So I did finish the fourth book in the series, The Battle of the Labyrinth by Rick Riordan, which I really enjoyed. A lot of stuff with Daedalus and Icarus and, that sort of side of thing in the underground labyrinth. It's cool. I think the first book is good. The second book kind of feels like a little bit of a retread. The third book felt like where it started to diversify and mature a little bit in terms of its storytelling. And then I think the fourth one kind of feels like that too. Like it's not just a...
You watched the Disney Plus ones?
I haven't watched any of the show. I've heard mixed things about the show. I think the second season is done now, which is, I think, they're doing one book per season sort of thing. The third book I really, really liked. So I kind of feel like I would be curious to catch up in time for that, probably coming out next year. I feel like it's one of those things they can't wait too long to film it, otherwise they're 40-year-olds and pretending to be children, Stranger Things style.
Sure.
We try to avoid that if we can help it. But I'm about halfway through the fifth book, so I'll catch back. I'll check in and talk about it more when I do finish it up. But it's so far pretty good. But I did really like that fourth book, The Battle of the Labyrinth. I thought that was good, and I feel like just the writing I feel like has improved. The storytelling has improved. The Greek tie-ins and everything are pretty cool. There's stuff that's fun that's in Hades too. You fight Scylla and you fight Charybdis. All the things some of the things that have come up in our trivia that I fucked up, I probably would have gotten right if you asked me now. Good. And then finally, I'm going to shout out some music, and then I will call it for my end of things. Been listening to some random indie bands that have, I think, just either came through me through like the Apple, like Discover stuff. Like, they kind of just throw things at you, or YouTube suggestions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, these are indie bands that I don't think everyone is going to like, but I'm going to shout them out because I like them.
Okay.
So Dead Pony is, I think they're Scottish. They put out a single called Eat My Dust, which I think is where I started listening. They have an album, Ignore This, in 2024, which is a little bit long, but has some really good stuff on it. They're, I would say, Linkin Park-y in some ways, but pop punk, new metal, rock. Yeah, that's about right. It's fun. Good tracks. I enjoy their energy and the production of their stuff, I think, is really, really nicely done. Mama is a band who I think is very good driving music, I would say. They have a sort of 90s Smashing Pumpkin indie rock sort of sound to them. And I really enjoyed their latest album, which is called Welcome to My Blue Sky. Came out last year. Rodeo is one track that I would. Rodeo is a track that I would shout out, and I think Cross Your Heart was a new single they put out recently. That's quite good too. So yeah, I'd recommend them. Mama, just MOMMA.
MoMA.
Yeah,
Mama.
MoMA. MoMA. Good. Go do it. Recommend them, and then. I guess, yeah, finally Die Spitz. It's 4 women. They're a punk band. I guess punk rock. Put out an album last year called Something to Consume. All over the place. The sound is heavy. The bass is thick. I enjoy it. It makes me feel good. But they're kind of multi-instrumentalists, there's like 3 of them sing, and like they all kind of have their own vocal styles. Like one's a bit more thrashy, abrasive, one's a bit more maybe screamy, and then one is just like singing, like soft singing.
Okay.
So I would say Punishers is kind of the softer side, which is how I got started. And then I listened to the other stuff. I was like, oh, this shit doesn't sound anything like that, but I still like it. And Throw Yourself to the Sword is another one that's like more on the thrashy side of things, which is pretty fucking cool. So Die Spitz, would recommend.
Let's look them up real quick.
They're cool. They're cool. And I would like to see all 3 of them live. I think that, I think Die Spitz they're from Texas. I think Mama is American, California based. So, whereas, the Scottish people probably aren't, the Scottish indie band's probably not touring America anytime soon. Let's put it that way, but they're cool. Would recommend. And also not indie at all. And they don't need my exposure. But 9 Inch Nails put out a remix album for Tron Ares called Divergence, which is fucking badass as hell. So I would recommend that.
Okay.
There's a few new tracks that are just, straight up instrumental tracks, but there's a lot of remix. There's some Boys Noise stuff on there, which is awesome. And yeah, I got to listen to it a little bit more, but it might actually just be better than the straight up Tron Ares soundtrack. It's my initial hot take / impression. So music side of things for me. No, we don't really go down that rabbit hole, and music's tough. It's very subjective. I don't expect most people listening to be like, yeah, I love this, but maybe you will. Maybe you will like those artists that I recommended. So I'm throwing them out there because that's kind of what's that's what gets me through the workday and car drives and stuff like that, and public transit and all that jazz. So podcasts too. All right, that's it. That's all I got. We're going to wrap it up there. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word. We're on Patreon at patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. Early access to all of our regular episodes, timed exclusive access to all of our bonus episodes. No info to share on the bonus episode front yet. Maybe Tropic Thunder, maybe something else. We'll see. I might have a conversation off air with Andrew and figure that out. But
TBD.
I don't want to do it live. TBD. Yeah, I don't want to talk about things and then never deliver on those things. So anyway, let's see. Our website is watchreviewrepeat.com. Oh, for Patreon, it's $2 a month, and you get those things. So it's a good deal. We'll make it worth your while, I promise. The website is watchreviewrepeat.com. We're on Facebook.com/watchreviewrepeat. If you want to get in contact with us on social media, that's how you can find us there. We're also on Instagram at watchreviewrepeat. You can message us there as well. We're on Blue Sky, watchreviewrepeat.bsky.social. Also on YouTube. We do take a look at that. So comment, whatever. We'll check it out. We'll see it. If you have something to say, you can send it our way to watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, thoughts on, I don't know, anything that's come out, I guess, January, February, coming into March, movie TV wise, recommendations, happy to, obviously this wasn't a specific thing that you might have thoughts about, but, I don't know, whatever. We're happy to see what you think. Intro and outro track is Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, which is licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. What we're covering for our next episode is also an off-the-air conversation that I have yet to have with Andrew, because I don't know. This is usually what we do when we don't have anything obvious lined up for the week, but we probably won't be doing it 2 weeks in a row, and I don't know exactly what we have lined up next week. So I do know Hoppers is coming out this weekend, so you got a Pixar kid-friendly entry in the theaters that could be an option. The Bride, I know you were not terribly high on, but that's also coming out too.
All right,
maybe. So I don't know. I don't think you've made a theater trip yet, but we got Project Hail Mary looming at the end of the month too, which was a big one. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do. We'll talk
have
about
a little
it. We'll
surprise next week.
You'll find out when the episode goes up on Patreon or when it goes up on the regular feed, whichever one you see first. So, well, we'll leave it there. So. I'm gonna finish up brew number 3, and I guess that's it. I guess we better call it there.
Well, I hope everybody take care now. They take care now. Bye then.
Yeah, later's on the Menche.